Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Thunder Pod WWE Edition. I'm your host, Billy Sullivan. With me, as always, my mom's favorite podcast host and Drew McIntyre's inspirational next-door neighbor, Dave Linovich.
I was also surprised to learn I live next door to Drew McIntyre. It was nice.
I'm like, while watching the show, I was like, yeah, Drew, I agree. He is an inspirational character.
Right.
And I also agree, probably at this point, shouldn't be world champ.
No, but
you got to get a couple wins under your belt at least first.
Well, apparently in wrestling ththese days, I don't need any wins. I could just get in somebody's face and I'm all of a sudden headlining a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I would. Normally, this is where I would take my shot at the Fed, but Mercedes Money is getting a shot at the title with
based on nothing,
a 0-0 record. So
yeah.
Based on and she's going to win it too, based on what we saw this week. But right now we're talking about the Fed. What did you think of WWE programming this week, David?
It was all very good. I mean that. I thought it was all very good. Storyline progression wise. The matches they're not getting better, they're staying better.
They're both staying at a level, like the level that they've achieved. Yeah. I agree though that they're getting better too. Like they're maybe not like match by match getting better, but the number of good matches they're having on every show is higher every week for the last several weeks.
I just find I'm more willing to sit down and watch full Monday Night Raw matches, which was not a thing I've done
100%.
At least a decade.
Like I'm enjoying my time watching both Raw and SmackDown because primarily their shift towards, I don't know how long it's going to last because it's generally just not a super popular thing. Yeah. But their focus has definitely been in ring.
Yes.
It's a tournament that helps, but there's several matches on both shows that I was watching and interested in, not just in taking notes for the show or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought this was a really solid week across the board for wrestling, but for both WWE shows, in particular.
Also, too, both companies are building toward pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like next weekend.
I really it hurts my soul that I'm interested in not just having to watch King of the Ring for the show. Like I'm interested in the show, and I wish I wasn't because I pledged years ago to just not pay any mind to the Saudi shows. Yeah, and I kind of have to now. I guess if Sammy can get over it, I can too. But
yeah, I mean he's the big one.
Yeah, and he's been there at this point. Yeah. So I guess it's okay.
Did you see that?
No better than me.
They're seriously bidding, and I think going to get a Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
I was scared it was going to be WrestleMania, but I think you're right. I think it's going to be a Rumble. I think they're going to get a Royal Rumble.
I don't think they would leave that Mania money on the table because, granted, they're getting the check they're getting for made up shows at this point, Crown Jewel and stuff. They would like the revenue of a Philadelphia again.
That's the thing is the Mania money is, it's there is no ceiling. On they don't know what their cap is at any given year. Yep. So there's no way for the Saudis to be we'll give you $35 million or whatever.
They don't know if they got
we might do $70 million.
Right,
because every year it goes up. So that's why I think it's unlikely that the Saudis will be able to pull a Mania. But I do think they're getting a big four, and I think the Rumble's the one they're going to want. Yeah. So it's probably going to happen.
Fine.
The only positive thing is that I like occasionally having a pay-per-view in the afternoon. One of my favorite things about All In is that it's 1 p.m. and it's fun.
You got the rest of your day.
Yeah, exactly.
To mow the lawn.
We particularly too, if I want to do my notes or whatever post-show, I can do it and it's not 3 a.m. I'm done. But two pay-per-views that I'm pretty excited about are happening in the upcoming, not this weekend, but the following. And then all this build has been, I feel like it's been geared specifically towards me. Oh, pause.
Is that Kate?
I hope so. That might be. All right, guys, there's probably going to be a little bit of a weird pause there. I'll edit most of what just happened out, but for a full disclosure's sake and to make it feel not so disjointed, a giant, crazy-ass, hornet just flew into the studio, and we had to dispatch it. So if it's a little disjointed from when we first started talking to right now, and if we sound like we're a little bit manic, it's because of that.
I'm so turned on right now. I just watched another man murder something to save my life.
It's to save my own skin as well, David.
This is lovely.
We were about
Talking about the King of the Ring.
to start talking about. Yeah, we were talking about how it's a real solid weekend for wrestling coming up. Very exciting, and how Raw and SmackDown, as of very recently, seem to be programmed for me. Specifically, I am realizing that I am the antithesis of what the WWE universe is.
Yeah.
Especially on Raw. I watched and enjoyed all of Raw, and every single match, I think, I was cheering for the person that the crowd was absolutely not cheering for.
I tell you what, France ruined crowds for me.
Yeah, it's tough.
This crowd fucking sucked.
On
both shows.
So AEW's crowd was a good
crowd.
It still was not very good compared to France.
No.
It was a real good crowd, but it still was you're not France.
No,
You're not,
France ruined wrestling crowds for me.
I actually literally my only legitimate gripe. Two about WWE programming. They didn't do this on SmackDown, but still on Raw, they did the thing on a couple matches. I'm not going to bring it up match by match at this point because I've complained about it way too much. But they do the thing where they do the entrance, commercial break, come back, do some other bullshit, and then do somebody else's entrance, or then the match starts, and it's weird and disjointed, and I don't like that. Programming wise, that's it. My only other complaint was just I hate the WWE fan base. I think they're wrong about everything. And that was pissing me off while watching the show, but it was that's got nothing to do with what they were programming. What they put on the air for me, I'm I enjoyed all of it. Yeah. I just disagreed with the fans on everything.
Yeah, and they don't get, and they're presenting certain people so well with no direction. The one that comes to mind is, we'll talk about it on Raw. I want the Creed brothers wrestling every week.
Yeah,
on television.
why aren't they on my TV every week? Exactly. I thought what we were going to get was Gable bullying his old people, but also aligning with the Creed brothers as his new badasses.
Yeah.
And what happened is the Creed brothers just disappeared. I don't even can't even remember who they got drafted to at this point.
Well, they're on Raw because they were in the Fatal 4-Way.
Oh, that's right. Right. They were on the 4. Okay.
Yeah.
But they're not they should be prominent.
They should be on my TV every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Less Damian Priest,
you
more
put it
Creed
best
brothers.
right off the Damian Priest. Damian Priest had his best mic week.
We'll get,
and it still was his,
I don't. Yeah, I got thoughts. We'll get to Raw. We're gonna do SmackDown first.
Good. Yeah. Good
which was it aired from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Dude, for my whole life I called it Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I'm 40.
I don't know that I even knew there was a Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
So
Corey Graves,
you're ahead of me.
I'm what? But it was at the Mohegan Sun at KC Plaza.
Is that anywhere near Pittsburgh, Dave?
Wilkes-Barre? I don't know.
Well, if it is, then we probably have some people listening that were in attendance.
Probably had some people there. Top of mind, first thing is it's not much, but they locked the rosters the prior Monday. May 6th, the rosters are locked. They made a big effort to let us know they were locking the rosters on May 6th and did nothing with that information. There was no big trade or stipulation or anything like that. It was just a way to get past backlash, I think.
Yeah, my hope then is that the reason for that announcement is that they're actually going to stick to it.
I hope so, because that's when the draft was special. When they first did it.
Yeah, when it had stakes, when it was two different shows.
Yeah. And keep it two separate shows. That's
if you have to have two world titles, which I hate, I will always hate. I'm never going to be argued away from that.
Tell you what, they did a good job addressing that on Raw. What's his face? Drew McIntyre did a really, really nice couple lines there.
Drew, that belt has felt legit for 5 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yeah.
And it will again whenever that happens. But I just, my general feelings about having more than one world heavyweight championship, regardless of whether you're going to call it undisputed, which they called on air this week on SmackDown, undisputed world heavyweight title.
Right.
Logan Paul did. I don't like having two world titles, but if you absolutely have to, then what you do is keep the shows as two different, it's two different companies, basically.
Which, I'm on the opposite side of the aisle here. I love when the brand split is. I like a brand. I think we actually are more alike here than.
Yeah.
But like I am so, like it's like an abusive relationship where I want a brand split too. I'm so excited for the draft every year because I'm like, this is the year. This is the year. This is the year. They're gonna do it right. They're gonna do it right. And I think this might be the first time since they originally did it, when it was the most stacked like roster ever up till that point.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. But I think this is the time they're going to do a real nice job with it.
A legit brand split. They did a dog shit job with the draft itself, but
which is fine.
But I'm happy.
Fine.
I'll be happy if they just. Yeah, that was a gimmick because of the NFL draft. Basically, I'll be happy if they just do it like run it like it's two companies.
Yes,
and that also makes like the big four pay-per-views more special too, because those are the only times that you do get crossover. Right. I want it to stay that way.
I agree completely.
So, and it seems like that's at least what their aim is, and they've been better in the Logan Paul Levesque era of sticking to their guns, at least on most stuff.
Right.
So I'm hopeful.
I want to double check something before I say it. What was this? May 10th.
Today?
No, the show.
Oh,
it was May 10th.
Yeah.
So
this is the 15th. Huh?
Let's see. Yep, I have this correct. So they apparently are not abiding by the rules of the draft in dark matches because there were 2 dark matches on the SmackDown.
I'm okay with that, I think.
Braun Strowman defeated Shinsuke Nakamura
on the SmackDown Dark.
SmackDown Dark.
And Braun is Raw, right? Yeah,
Braun is because he's a part of a big angle with Judgment Day. And then Jey Uso defeated Gunther. Both Monday Night Raw guys. Well, via DQ.
Fuck?
Via DQ.
So they did a dark match
with 3
preview of what is going to be their
good call.
King of the Ring semi.
Yeah. That was maybe their
weird.
Might be their workout match.
Yeah.
Because where was Raw? Raw was like down the street, wasn't it?
It had to be. If Jey Uso and
South
Gunther
Carolina.
What the hell? Why are they making those guys travel like that? Why did Gunther and Jey Uso have to travel across the goddamn country?
Put them on the jet. The opening had a Backlash recap. Cool. It was sold out. They said, and I looked, and the capacity for this it's a hockey arena, right? So it's 8,300 for hockey, and then 10,000 for concerts. So hell of a fucking house. I don't know exactly. WrestleNomics said they distributed 7,935 tickets.
I know the SmackDown crowd sounded much better than the Raw crowd did this week.
They did a really good job with piping in audio, and
probably
I'm really laser focused on people's mouths and how many people are chanting things ever since France, man. France ruined it. And I'm like, come on, there's no way you're this loud.
Something stood out to me too that I think that they kind of underplayed, or maybe it's that they because they pipe in other bullshit. Something on the Raw show that I was like, man, I wish there was more support for this because I'm enjoying it quite a bit. When I looked at the crowd, it looked like people were cheering and supporting it, but it sounded way more subdued than a lot of other bullshit that was not as interesting.
It's like when they in post-production, when like a stand-up comic's doing like a special and they insert audience laughter.
Yeah.
You're like, no, those people laughed at something. It wasn't this.
Yeah.
Right? You recorded that. Which is, I mean, whatever. It's not going to change. So, but they're hyping the King and Queen of the Ring real big throughout both of these upcoming shows.
I just realized something.
What's that?
It's the Queen of the Ring. So great empowerment. We're actually putting the name on it now. It's not just King of the Ring with another additional women's tournament. Yep. But the Queen of the Ring is going to have to wear a goddamn scuba suit because they're in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Don't even call it the Queen of the Ring then. Just do it elsewhere.
Yep.
Or don't make them wear the scuba suit. Falls up and just say, if you want the show, you're getting the show. We're not changing it.
Real hard to turn down that would be 9-figure checks.
They at this point, I don't accept that because they're just printing money regardless. They don't need that at all.
You're not wrong.
They just doubled what they did at WrestleMania. They can make that money a million other ways. Right. They don't need the blood money anymore. Like that can go away.
Yeah, I mean, I also too, going back to the Royal Rumble potentially being in Saudi Arabia. Every interview I've ever heard about people wrestling there, they say it's just brutally hot. Yeah. I can't imagine having an Iron Man in a Royal Rumble being out there for over an hour.
Yeah, that's got to be rough. How about if you're a lady wearing the scuba suit too?
Even be better. I mean, your abs are going to look great because you're going to be almost dead from dehydration. Yeah. But that's about it. We finally have female brackets for the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, it was awesome on Raw.
Would you like to right now or after we do both reviews because we fantasy book the men's King of the Ring, do the women's King of the Ring.
Let's do the women's, but let's do it after since we know what a bunch of the results are now.
That's
so
fair. We'll look really smart if we do it now.
Yeah.
I also too, I was trying to find a photo, just a Google image photo of the full brackets.
Yeah.
It is unreasonably difficult to find a HD photo of
I actually made a little effort myself, and
I had to find some generic site that makes you can make your own brackets, and I had to manually type in everybody's fucking name.
Yeah.
Do better, WWE. They also pointed out, great news for us, Lashley's injured.
Yeah.
He got injured he got injured during training. Doubly great news. He's replaced by the greatest wrestler of all time, Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah. Who had a fantastic. Well, yeah, we'll talk about when we get there.
And he will take on Tamatonga in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. The show starts with Nick Aldis is in ring, and he welcomes everybody to SmackDown. Introduces Cody Rhodes. Cody comes out.
I didn't see this one coming, Dave.
No. Cool.
It was a nice surprise.
Cool.
They don't surprise me very often.
No.
This was a nice one.
So this is where I wrote, the American fans all of a sudden look like unenthusiastic trash. Nick Aldis congratulates Cody Rhodes on his defense against AJ Styles at Backlash. And Cody says, it's never a small feat to get your hand raised against the best in-ring performer of a generation.
Yeah, I disagree, but he's in the top 5.
You mean it's Will Ospreay now, but
Kenny Omega too, and there's a few.
I think if Kenny Omega had more exposure on North American television, he would. Yeah,
I think it's him. I think it's Kenny. Really,
yeah.
Ospreay right now is the best, I think, and he's my favorite. And I think he's got the opportunity to be the best of his generation or whatever. Yeah. He's 30. He's still young. What Styles and Omega have done over the course of their careers is much more impressive. Because of its longevity and a bunch of different ways. Like AJ was awesome in a small, a little tiny American company. He was awesome in Japan and been awesome in WWE. And Kenny Omega is maybe the best gaijin ever in Japan, and he's been incredible in the States too. Yeah. So Ospreay's not there yet.
Yeah,
I think he will be eventually.
Yeah.
But he's not quite there. But my point was just that I wouldn't say definitively the best of his generation, he's in the conversation.
It's a fun
for sure.
debate.
Yeah.
Even if it's just those two.
It's nothing and it's not one that I would get super pissed about.
No.
If anybody took a hard line that AJ Styles is the best, because you have an argument that he is for sure.
So then Cody says, he gives AJ his nice little compliment. He says, now I got to look at King of the Ring. Nick Aldis said, I've heard you say it, and frankly, I knew it already. You're a fighting champion. You want to be a fighting champion. You want to defend that championship against the very best as often as you can. So with that in mind, I invited you out here tonight to tell you that your next challenger has been determined. And I thought there was no better time to introduce him than right now. And out comes Logan fucking Paul.
The Logan Paul effect era, baby. I'll tell you what, I think this is the first time Cody's lost a promo battle in his tenure in WWE.
Cody looked old here.
He did a little bit because Logan Paul's just so goddamn hip or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm old, so it's going to sound terrible coming out of my mouth, but because hip even probably is stupid to say.
Yeah.
But he felt your finger is on the pulse of the youth of the country, and Cody's super old school babyface guy.
Yeah. You have to stop trying to make fetch work.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So Logan Paul comes out. I don't even think he's on mic yet. And he goes, I bet y'all didn't see that coming, which popped me. Because I'm yep, you're right. I did
100%. What you've talked about for the last several weeks, they're saying the things that we're thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm that's exactly what I was thinking.
100%. Nick Aldis leaves. On the way out, he shakes Logan Paul's hand. And then Corey Graves recounts that Logan Paul almost won the WWE title in Saudi Arabia against Roman Reigns. So Cody Rhodes, he's in the ring now. Both of them are in the ring. Cody says, so, Logan Paul, I think I know what you want to talk about. And Logan says, yes, you do, brother. Main eventing the King and Queen of the Ring, PLE, in a champion versus champion match against the Cody Rhodes to truly kick off the Logan Paul Levesque era. Yeah. Has he said that before?
I hope so, because I've been saying it.
Yeah.
And, actually, I don't hope so, because if he hasn't, that means he's really listening to our show, which would be amazing. But yeah, no, he said it at least once, because I've said it a number of times.
Cody says, champion versus champion. That's a challenge I certainly like, because the fact is, holding not one, but two. Logan Paul cuts him off. See, that's the thing, Cody. Facts don't care about your feelings, and neither do I. Logan Paul listens to Ben Shapiro. I got some facts for you, champ. I, Logan Paul, not you. I'm the longest reigning champion in WWE. In the WWE. I am the great attraction in this company. I had the greatest rookie year of all time, and I am a superstar. Isaiah, and then he points to some kid in the crowd named apparently Isaiah. Isaiah, I saw it's your birthday. Congratulations.
He really dug in on the Isaiah thing.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was like a thing, if that was part of a story or whatever. But like
Isaiah looked like he couldn't give less. Of
yeah,
a shit.
no,
He was the most apathetic kid. Said, I saw it's your birthday. Congratulations. You meet a superstar, brother. And that's Logan Paul. And I'm writing exactly how he's talking. He's like his tenses are not always correct.
Yeah.
But he says, hey, but guess what? Cody Rhodes is great. He's a superstar too, right, Cody? Yeah, you won the 2023 Royal Rumble, but what does everyone remember from that night? Logan Paul's epic viral midair collision with Ricochet, the crash heard around the world. And yes, Cody, you won at WrestleMania, but what was everyone talking about that night? I show speed and prime, my brands, my ideas, my moments, and look who's taking all the credit. He said, you see, 3 years ago, Cody, another fact, you and I debuted at WrestleMania. And the crowd cuts him off with a Prime sucks chant.
Which he responds to beautifully.
He goes, I'll have you know Prime has 2 calories and 2 grams of sugar filled with BCAAs and electrolytes. So shut your mouth, Pennsylvania.
I don't know what BCAAs are, but I was like...
It's branched chain amino acids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They are good for protein synthesis and recovery.
I assumed it was something in that vein.
I have some in this container right here.
But...
it's awesome for energy.
I have BC double pub mix
Pub
right
mix.
here.
Yeah.
But it was a great reaction.
Prime's delicious, by the way. Like it's really sweet. It's
I've
like
only had it at your brother's.
It's like a cupcake, but like you can't have it all the time.
It's like Saudi Arabia. I vowed not to do it, so I'm still going to try to keep it to minimum if I can.
He says, more facts for your he's talking to Pennsylvania. More facts for you virgin inbreds. 3 years ago at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes and I debuted on the same night, and since then, I have been the rocket fuel for the spaceship that is WWE.
Are they officially not PG now? I haven't checked, but
they say
asshole.
Yeah,
like hole. They say the whole part of the S.
Do they
unbleeped?
Do they put the
and the virgin thing too? That's not PG.
No.
I mean, I know that The Rock changed everything. You know, when we discussed at great length that The Rock was dropping, as the Brits like to say, effing and jeffing all over the place. But I assumed it was just for The Rock because he's the boss. Yeah. But they do seem, at least to me, to have gone away from the PG stuff altogether and are kind of allowing people to say what they want. Not dropping F-bombs or whatever audibly like The Rock was, but like the Virgin rip is not something that you would have heard on WWE TV 5 years ago.
No, not at all.
So like I gotta check and see if they have actually changed their. Not that anybody pays attention to that anyway these days, but like the PG.
No, it's noticeable because I mean there was an era called the PG era.
Yeah. I mean, like I think that is more of a thing than what most people don't even look at the TVMA, TV PG thing unless you have a kid or whatever. It's still it's a
regular flag.
Yeah, they still have like the denominations. And WWE has been PG and AEW has been PG-14 or whatever, or TV-14 like throughout its run. Yeah. But I'm wondering if they may have to change it because I feel like they're hitting on a bunch of stuff that would. And it's not the MPAA, whatever the governing body that does television is, would say like, okay, this is no longer TV PG.
Well, they're definitely not TV 14. I know that because we would see nudity or like more Attitude Era stuff,
like blood. Well, we are seeing blood. We've seen 2 blade jobs in 4 weeks. They're never gonna bleed like AEW bleeds because I think AEW is the bloodiest major American promotion of all time. Yeah. But we've seen blood. We saw KO. We saw Cody. Somebody else too.
I don't remember.
Somebody 2 weeks ago bladed in the ring. I can't remember who it was.
I can't get a clear answer because it's got it for the WWE Network, but this is over a year ago. So I don't know.
For our purposes, does it feel the same way to you? Like it's a vast difference?
Of course.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, they're letting people actually talk for a change. And it's very refreshing. So, so where's the Virgin line? Oh, yeah. After that, I said Cody looks indifferent because Logan Paul's saying he's the fuel that has fueled this rocket ship.
I like that line, too.
That is WWE. He said, so my question for you is how can you finish the story when it's not even your story? So what do I want to talk about, Cody? How about this? Me knocking you out and pinning you on top of my logo and walking out of Saudi Arabia as the WWE Undisputed Champion.
That is really good shit talk.
Loved that line.
That is really good
Loved
shit talking.
Cody said, I bet a lot of people stand across from you and assume just what a dumbass. As fun as that would be, I'm not going to call you a podcaster, a YouTuber, an influencer, an outsider. I'm not going to pretend that this is a fad for you. I've actually gotten a sense of who Logan Paul really is, and so have they. You're the guy who went toe-to-toe with Floyd Mayweather, right? Under 40 and you made the Forbes list, and correct me if I'm wrong, 4th or 5th match, you won the United States Championship. Since we're going over the facts, the fact is that if I was to win that U.S. Championship, that would make me a WWE Grand Slam champion. So this is title for title.
Yeah, and the U.S. title would look beautiful on Cody.
Why?
Too. Because it's stakes, dude. But why not?
What are they doing with that title?
I don't know. I don't care. It makes me care more about the match than I would if it was not title for title.
But yes, they're not merging these fucking things.
I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna criticize this for a thing. No. I'm saying like me. I'm not gonna criticize this for a thing that might or might not happen. When the thing that is happening is that stakes are on the table, real stakes that make me way more interested in this match.
I'm just looking ahead
than I would be. Yeah, sure.
Because because they've done this before, where they get rid of mid card titles.
Yeah,
and you're like, what are you doing? Nobody wants this.
Other company, I want to get rid of some mid card titles, but although. I'm currently loving the 6-man tag title thing that they're doing, but making a joke out of the overabundance of belts. Yeah, I don't want them to get rid of the U.S. title at all by any means, but making this a title for title match,
it's interesting.
I wouldn't it'd be a fun thing otherwise. Yeah. But now it's like, holy shit, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be Cody wins. LOL.
Well, also too, they did not say they're unifying. Cody did say, he would be a Grand Slam champion, so he would be acknowledged as a United States champion. So it's probably going to be like when
and it wouldn't fit Cody's character either. It'd be like, now I'm going to...
Seth Rollins did this a couple years ago. He had the world title and the U.S. title. Yeah. Which, fine.
Cody... What if they put the world title on Logan? In Saudi Arabia, how about a heel-ass move?
Cody would do it, too.
Yeah, he would.
Cody would do it.
Yeah, he's the guy that would.
Yeah. I don't know who I want to win this, which is the note I have at the end. Because both outcomes are pretty spectacular.
It's pretty goddamn interesting.
They got to kill in 10 months with Cody Rhodes.
I don't want Cody to be champ because I like him as a babyface, and I don't like babyface champs. So I kind of want him to drop the title.
That'd be dope.
It stands out. He is a very important person to the company because if neither him nor CM Punk is on Raw, the lights are just dimmer. It's just every time you watch. Even this was a good show this week without either guy, but still the lights are just dimmer if Cody's not there and it's not a week that CM Punk is there, to make up for the lack of Cody. Cody is they
pushed
true
the goddamn moon the last year. So Cody says, I am not done. In addition to all the positive things I said you are also disrespectful, you are self-centered, you are delusional, and you cannot go a single match without grabbing those brass knucks. And you're out here taking credit for something that doesn't belong to you, doesn't belong to me. That's right here. It's a team. And at the King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, you're going to find out where you stand on that team. And then both guys raise their respective titles at each other. I'm good with either guy winning this match.
Yeah, I think I am too.
It's going to be a fucking banger. Regardless.
Yeah, well.
I do like that Cody's world title matches are all just 5-star matches.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, so far he's 1 for 1 in his title defenses.
I'm safe to say this next one's going to be the same way too.
It'll be... I don't know that it'll be technically the same level of match that he just had. Yeah. Because that was a true 5-star ass match.
It'll be very different.
It'll be really good. Yeah. Logan Paul is not AJ Styles yet, but he definitely has something. He's got the high spot stuff. He's got the charisma. His shit is you can't take your eyes off it when it's on screen.
This might work out for you. Logan Paul wins. Who has he been feuding with for quite a while that can be a world title contender?
Don't get my hopes up, Dave. He'd be a great heel champ, though.
Yeah.
I also now at least am convinced that he has like decided as a person that that WWE is his thing. Now he's always gonna do his other stuff.
Yeah.
But for a long time, even when he was like having good matches and stuff, it felt to me like WWE was like his side hustle. I think that he's at the point in his life where he's like figured out that okay, this is my career. This is the thing that I'm gonna do now, my defining thing.
Yeah.
He's probably had a lot of people telling him that like how incredible he is naturally at it too. So I just pushed him in that direction.
Yeah.
But there just is like a natural
also,
shelf life to like YouTuber that
he's a
is aimed at
sponsor
kids,
now.
whatever. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's got vested interest.
He
in
is
the
his own.
company
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
like, of course, he's going to put his best foot forward. Next, we had Kayla Braxton and AJ Styles backstage. They discussed the first round of the King of the Ring match with fucking Randy Orton. It's AJ Styles and Randy Orton, the first round of the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Holy shit. AJ Styles says that he had Cody Rhodes beat at Backlash, and he blames Leon's singing for distracting him.
Would have distracted me.
Plausible.
Yeah.
It should be him facing Logan Paul. Next time they face, talking about Cody, he said he will beat him. He will earn a chance to get another title match, which starts tonight. Winning the King of the Ring tournament is a phenomenal step in the right direction. Does this King of the Ring tournament victory have any stakes aside from a crown?
They said it again somewhere that there are title shots involved.
They didn't say it at all in these two shows because I was listening.
I heard it somewhere this week. Maybe it was on another show or something.
Yeah,
but,
unless I tapped out because it was an obscene amount.
I'm almost positive there are some kind of a title
I hope you're
shot
right.
involved. Yeah, because like I don't want Gunther. I think Gunther's going to win the tournament, and I don't want him to wear the crown. I think it's dumb for him. I think it works for some people. Like it worked for like Xavier. He made a thing out of it, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Gunther's not fun.
No.
Gunther's a badass. He would look silly with the crown on his head. So I hope that there are stakes.
I'm working back. I see no smiles. It's a deep cut. That's a Bruce Almighty reference. Up first, we had...
I add that to the list. My girl.
My girl, Bruce Almighty. Too many Simpsons references.
Yeah.
Queen of the Ring tournament match. Naomi versus Nia Jax. Went 8 minutes and 21 seconds.
1 star, Nia's best match ever. I'm not joking.
Well, also Naomi, like, she listens to the podcast.
I couldn't tell if it was that Naomi stepped up or if it was just that she looked like she was moving so much faster because she was in the ring with Nia, who like can't do anything.
No, she can show up. She shows up.
She bumped a little bit here.
One thing they too.
Naomi worked her ass off.
And she did. There's a new SmackDown ring announcer. Alicia Taylor is the new SmackDown ring announcer. She was on NXT, and there's a video of like HBK like announcing to the staff like she's being called up to SmackDown to be the official announcer, which was cool. He gave her like a championship belt. She does a straight up Samantha Irvine impression.
Yeah, she does.
Like,
just sounds like her.
If we're gonna differentiate the brands, like not off to a great start. She's great at her job. Don't get me wrong, but
but you're 100%. She's doing
Irvine.
Samantha. Yeah,
and Samantha Irvine. I think is best ring announcer WWE ever had. I think
it's hard. It's hard for me not to.
Howard
think
Finkel
because I grew up and
contest.
And no is just like in my soul, like because I grew up with it.
Same.
But Samantha Irvine's probably the best.
I think
if I'm looking at it objectively, she's probably the best.
She makes matches feel like a big goddamn deal.
Yeah.
Right, a huge deal. This match, he says. As it's starting, Wade Barrett says some of his favorite picks to SmackDown were Pretty Deadly and Nia Jax. And I thought of you immediately. I'm like, I know Sully likes Pretty Deadly. Yeah, but Nia Jax.
I will say this match was better than anything she did on Raw in the last year
of course,
or whatever.
They also gave it time.
Yeah.
Like, I think that might have been part of it.
I didn't. If I'm looking at it through the same lens as I would every other match, if it wasn't a Nia Jax match, I would be like, I don't like it because Naomi got all the offense for the whole match, and then Nia does 2 unimpressive moves and gets the win.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'll forgive that because the fact that Naomi was the one getting all the offense in meant that I didn't have to watch Nia trying to do offense, which meant that this match was much better than her usual matches.
Fair. That's fair. she one of the offensive moves that Nia Jax did was she Samoan dropped to the outside and looked pretty good.
Yeah, it was her good Samoan drop for the week.
Pretty good.
She did almost lose control on a very easy power bomb towards the end of the match, though. Which if she's not going to get her paralysis attempt on her Samoan drop, she got it later in the match with her power bomb attempt. She was not strong enough to do.
No, she goes for a sunset flip at some point and it's stopped. I'm sorry, Naomi goes for sunset flip, and of course Nia Jax way too big to that's what we're supposed to believe. So she sits down and she misses, and then Naomi.
I believe she's big, Dave. I don't believe she's strong.
So when she misses the sit down, Naomi hits a back elbow, a disaster kick, and then she gets caught when she's trying again. She gets placed on the apron. And then Naomi hits her Heat Seeker pedigree and her split-legged moonsault for 2. Like, Naomi worked her fucking
They both looked great,
off.
too. And they were, like, poppy and crisp. And
I'm usually very critical of that Heat Seeker pedigree.
Yeah.
But it made it look good this time.
Yeah, this was the best one she's done, I think, since the return.
Naomi's making the futile effort of trying to lift Nia Jax to sit on the top rope. It took her a minute. She did get there. It wasn't futile
She did.
at all.
I believe, that there's more of a chance that Naomi can physically lift Nia Jax up than Nia Jax can lift Naomi up. Just lift without help or whatever. Like, I do believe Naomi's stronger.
You just carry just carrying your groceries to the I don't know, just basic muscle. I don't know. You just carry a sandbag around. But
lifted weight. You're a goddamn wrestler. It's your job.
I'm just trying to help her out. Just basic shit around the house.
You're on TV all the time. You know how many thousands of people that are in the profession would love to have your spot? That's why you get pissed off at her.
I'm not on TV, and I make it to the gym. So Nia Jax is sitting on the top rope, and Naomi is trying to do a Hurricane Rana. And goddamn it, she did.
Yeah,
she got the Nia Jax took a Hurricane Rana.
It was a nice bump too.
Yeah,
I'll give her that.
Yeah,
she had a couple of nice bumps.
I was very surprised about that. Naomi gets 2 super kicks in the face of Nia Jax, but the third one resulted in that shoddy power bomb that you were talking about.
And I felt like it was going to be like a Bob Holly Brock Lesnar situation for a second there.
But just to put a cherry on it, she does drop her to the back of the fucking neck.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Just in case I missed it. The finish, her finisher is the bonsai drop, but they call it did you catch the name of this?
I did, but I forgot. My brain pushed it out because not disaster.
It's a
something
pun.
along those lines.
It's the Annihilator.
Oh, Annihilator! I knew it was a play on words. Disaster was annihilation. That's right. It was something. It was something along those stupid lines.
It's a bonsai drop.
Don't besmirch the bonsai drop. You ever see I forgot who he did it to, but
he kicks his legs up
when Yokozuna did the bonsai drop the one time because somebody attacked Mr. Fuji or talk shit about him and talk shit about him backstage, and then the one time Yokozuna actually did it and it looked like he killed the guy.
Was it a jobber?
It was unbelievable. Yeah, I think it was a jobber.
His leg shot out.
It was, yeah.
He didn't stop himself.
Oh my god!
And they used it in all the promos. For him.
This did not look like that.
When he did it to Bret Hart, he gingerly sat.
Yeah.
He sat down I'm not sure, the temperature of the chair I'm about to sit in.
When you're 500 pounds, like he was, I'd rather he do that.
Yeah.
I actually don't think it's a great move for somebody that's that big because it's too hard to do and make look good without actually putting your opponent in real danger, which is why most of the time Yoko's didn't look awesome. Naya's look terrible, but that's more just because she's bad. She doesn't care about injuring her opponent, obviously.
I'm excited to see her go up into the Jaded in the next. By the way, she's either going to face Jade Cargill or Piper Niven in the next round. I'm not fucking telling tales out of school here. Jade Cargill is probably winning this entire tournament.
Jade Cargill had the best match of her wrestling career on the show.
It was really she dance partner again.
100%.
She got, and it was a bigger person.
She sold. I got to see her. It never was her fault that she didn't have to sell because she was never booked to sell ever in a match.
Yeah,
and I got to see what that looked like, and I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
She's way better than I thought she was.
Yeah.
Because I
All
got
that
to see
time, the
a whole
PC.
half of her game that was never evident to us.
Right. Next, we had Byron Saxton's backstage with Baron Corbin, who
I love me some Baron Corbin.
Haven't seen because I'm not an NXT viewer. This is my favorite version of Baron Corbin.
Yeah, and this was the version that we get the Wolf Dogs.
Is that
what I talked about all the time? It was this Baron and the Braun that I'm sad is gone now.
Separate brand.
We went back to Angry Braun. It was a funny. We had moved on from Angry Braun to he was great still as that, but Funny Braun was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was this Corbin with the Funny Braun. And that was the Wolf Dogs, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And we only had it for a few weeks.
Well, whatever retained of the Wolf Dogs for Baron Corbin, I fucking loved here. So Byron Saxon's asking, first off, welcome back to the Blue Brand, and he's asking him how he's changed since the last time he's been on SmackDown. And Baron Corbin said, "Oh, so much has changed. Obviously, things weren't going my way when I was up here before. I was lost. Was I the king? Was I the constable? Was I happy? Was I sad? I had to figure it out. I went back to NXT and I found myself, I'm doing this as me. I'm going to wreck shop as me, and it's going to be a grind." Carmelo Hayes walks in. Carmelo Hayes says, "Congrats on getting called up, bro. When did you get drafted? I must have missed it." Because Baron Corbin came up in a supplement draft, which gets good. It's a good shot. Especially from the guy that got drafted in the first round.
Yeah,
right?
it's a good shot. I'm like, why does Baron get no goddamn respect ever? Yeah. He's the just incredible of 2024 or the last 10 years, I guess.
This podcast is dropping before our Blue Thunder pod, where we will be covering a pay-per-view that has Mr. Justin Credible.
Yeah, you might be able to ascertain from what I just said how I feel about Justin Credible.
Yeah. He is, in fact, what his name says. Baron Corbin says, "You got jokes, huh? With a head that big, it's going to be an easy target, so let me give you some advice." And Carmelo Hayes cuts him off. He says, "You know what? Save that. The last guy that tried to give me advice, he pulled out of the tournament altogether at the thought of me running circles around him, Bobby Lashley. So let me give you some advice, Baron. You should have did what Bobby did and pulled out while you had the chance, because tonight I'm running circles around you." Fine. Good build.
Yeah.
It's an ego match.
Carmelo doesn't have a ton of character yet on the main roster.
Yeah.
So it's just like a I'm great thing, but he got the show personality here. He's good on the mic, so like
this is fine. It gives me a reason to give a shit about this. That's all.
And it's an interesting matchup too.
Yeah, and I like both guys. Yeah. So what I did not like is they had a quick trailer for DIY coming to SmackDown.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it until they fucking do it. I hate this version of Tommaso Ciampa.
I just wanted to see Goldie.
Just want Goldie back
on the main roster.
That's it.
I want to see that one time tried on in front of a lot of people.
It was. It's one of the top 10 heels of the last 20 years.
It's like the thing that made me as interested in NXT as I got.
Like
was like that feud and him doing that heel character.
It was perfect.
It ruled. And he's not had an opportunity to do it one time in front of a lot of people.
But he's in DIY now.
Yeah.
Do it yourself.
Well, if they want, they can do the breakup angle and make him that. But the problem is that Gargano's never going to be as big a babyface as he was there. So Ciampa needs the guy he's going up against to be a big deal, and I don't think Gargano's ever going to be that in WWE, probably anywhere else either. I just don't think he's got the charisma to do it. But I think Ciampa does as a heel. So he needs somebody better to be the foil to that character. I'm with you. I would love to see that Goldie, crazy ass, no music, evil guy doing what he did to Johnny Gargano to Cody or something.
Yeah. It's a shame that they're on Raw now. I'm sorry, on SmackDown, because if you look at what got them over in NXT, it was AOP and FTR.
Yeah.
AOP's there, just sub in the Creed brothers and just start doing 6-man bangers like you did back then.
You can't. I don't think that's...
Give them 25 minutes.
They'll never get as over within ring in front of the WWE universe as they did in NXT or they would anywhere else.
Totally
really.
different viewership.
So they can't get them over the same way.
Just
because
wishful thinking. That's
all. Ciampa doesn't. It's not just the in ring. Gargano, I think it is pretty much just the in ring. He's great at that. And if he was in AEW, I'd be like, oh, he could be like a solid upper mid carder. I don't think he can do that in WWE because he doesn't have the other stuff.
Right.
Ciampa does.
Yeah.
My favorite stuff about him was the scary character stuff.
Dude, in the Indies, he came out to Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads. Yeah. It was my favorite thing ever to go to local shows and see him there. King of the Ring match, we had Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes. This went 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Apparently, Baron Corbin says, "Burn the ships." And then his video... Again, I'm new to this Baron Corbin. They smash over the head with it because his Titantron video is a ship, and then all of a sudden, the ship is burning. Yeah. I still say his first entrance music in the company was his best one.
It was
by a country mile.
Very cool, yeah. They carried over, right, from NXT to...
For a cup of coffee, and then they gave him something with like a motorcycle revving
Oh,
up,
that's right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's stupid. This is a small, fast guy versus big, strong, agile guy kind of match. Nice. They played off each other really well. Carmelo Hayes is getting really cocky, and he gets thumped for a little bit because he's focused on being cocky. Baron Corbin does like a suplex driver.
I think he did a straight up brainbuster in this match.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how
like,
to.
They're doing that
describe
now in the WWE for the first time. I don't know, in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember them doing it like in the 90s or the 80s or at any point, but they've been doing it.
And that brainbuster comes out of a Death Valley driver.
Yeah.
So Death Valley driver picks him up, brainbuster. Carmelo hits the first 48, which is like a middle of the. He stands on the middle rope and he does a code breaker from there. So first 48. Baron Corbin. Let's see. Oh, Carmelo Hayes hits a Uranagi. Wait. No, Baron Corbin does all this. He does a Uranagi like into the corner.
Yeah.
Like he turns his back's to the corner and he turns around and does Uranagi into the corner. And then a huge fucking lariat. And then like a suplex that he turns into a cutter. Who the fuck is this guy?
I thought this match was unbelievable. And I thought Baron Corbin was like, I'm going to show you some shit. Since you guys haven't seen me in a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to put on display the things that I have learned.
Mission accomplished. He looked
It was
amazing.
awesome. It was awesome. I hope this is a launching off point for Baron because I'm pretty sure Carmelo was already getting the push.
Yeah.
They were both great, but like Baron, this match was like a showcase to me for him. Yeah. I've always liked him, but this was like double the moveset that he used to have.
It was amazing. I loved watching him. I used to dread when this guy came on TV. Just
I always liked him.
No, his character was just so like shoved down your. I also hated his ring gear. That's a big thing for me. Like, how are you comfortable? You're wearing a fucking vest.
They booked him real boring for a while. I thought
time.
he did I thought he did an amazing job with garbage. That's why I've been a fan of his for like his whole career because I'm like, damn man, this guy turns like. Maybe not chicken shit into chicken salad, but he like at least chicken shit into like a dry chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Which is still the miracle.
Something you could sprinkle on toast.
Yeah.
The end of the match saw Baron Corbin going for the end of days. It's reversed into a small package. And that's it.
Yeah.
W.
I'm never a fan of especially when they call it out verbally, the stolen win. A win is a win is a win is a win.
Yeah, you don't steal
like
wins.
Bret Hart did a lot of roll-up victories. They weren't stolen wins. They were wins.
That's how he beat Diesel for the world title at Survivor Series.
Do not call it a stolen win, which Michael Cole did. I don't like that. But other than that, like, a really good match. Yeah. Really enjoyable. And hopefully Baron Corbin gets
more of him
to do more of this stuff.
They gave him, 2 segments on the show, so I think they got plans for him.
Yeah. Why not? The guy can talk, and obviously he's always been an athlete. Like he was a football player. Those guys do translate usually pretty well because they're good athletes.
They know how to actually move their bodies.
Yeah, exactly. They have that already in them, so then you can teach them things. Right. And like he can clearly pick up on moves.
Yeah,
because he just doubled his moveset in the last year. Or whatever.
Yeah. His character's great. So Carmelo Hayes moves on in the King of the Ring tournament. He will face either AJ Styles or Randall Orton. Yeah. Backstage, we have Kayla Braxton with Bayley. Kayla asks her what her thoughts are on the Queen of the Ring and who's her favorite. And Bayley says she's interested to see how far Jay Cargill can go. Like, she's going to win the goddamn
thing. Yeah, she's going to
win
the thing, I think.
Chelsea and Piper Niven walk in, and Chelsea says Piper's about to kick Jade out of the first round. And then Piper like stares at the title, which I like that. I don't mind that being a feud.
Yeah.
Just give Bayley something to do in the meantime.
I'd love it.
Yeah. Also, like more.
I love Piper and Chelsea together.
More of Chelsea on TV too. Like,
she's great.
She's like. Yeah, she's like the Creed brothers. Like, why is she not on the fucking TV all the time?
I've been saying it since we started this podcast, Dave. Yeah. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I don't know
her
why
character's
she's not
amazing.
Constantly on TV.
I think we've been in agreement on that one. They do a promo for WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, which
The Undertaker spoiled a few weeks ago on his stupid podcast.
He spoils everything because he's fucking sucks. Backstage, we have Byron Saxton and Randy Orton. Byron says. Many say that Randy Orton is the favorite, but many say Randy Orton's the favorite, but some also say AJ Styles is the favorite. Yeah. Real hard-hitting fucking journalism here, Byron.
Yeah, good one.
Randy Orton says he's accomplished a lot in the WWE, but never King of the Ring. He implies that he's going to hit AJ with another RKO out of nowhere.
Randy Orton's never won King of the Ring?
Nope.
How's that possible?
They went away for a long time.
He's been wrestling in the WWE since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
So, like...
Billy Gunn.
I feel like he should have won 3 or something.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Billy Gunn.
Yeah. Billy Gunn. Just won the fucking King of the Ring tournament.
Dude, Mabel did too.
Yeah, they tried to do something with him. Though.
Yeah.
Shit with Billy Gunn afterwards.
It's
At least Mabel crushed skulls, literally. It changed Undertaker's entire character because he sat on his goddamn head. I read it as much as I shit on the Undertaker. He had a funny thing. I was on YouTube Shorts the other day, and one of his clips came up, and they were talking about the corporate ministry, and Undertaker's like, yeah, when I started it was really fun for me because like I didn't have to work as much. Like I can kind of be like a special attraction. I put a bunch of guys around me. It's like I could put guys in this thing that I didn't want to work with. I put Mabel in there. Made me laugh. So Randy said he's implying he's going to hit AJ Styles with a RKO out of nowhere. He says this is for Tama Tonga because the Bloodline took out Kevin Owens at Backlash when they hit him in the head with the steel steps. So he says Tama Tonga is safely on the other side of the bracket, but when they cross paths, he'll make sure he sees this RKO coming. I initially thought, I'm like, oh, Tama Tonga is going to cost him the match tonight, but like I was very happy that they did not do the brand shit.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, okay, good. You're sticking to your guns because the way this promo read is there's going to be fuckery at the
we're
end.
already going to have this happen. Yeah.
And I was so happy that it didn't
I agree
happen.
completely.
Yeah.
On both. Like I thought that, and I'm happy that it didn't happen.
We had Queen of the Ring I keep saying Nope, never said qualifier once. It's just in my head. I'm saying it every time. Queen of the Ring match, Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven went 5 minutes and 23 seconds. Wade Barrett says, in the history of the industry, a lot of powerhouses just hate competing against each other. Hate competing against other powerhouses because they're completely out of their wheelhouse at that point. And then I said, it reminded me of everything The Undertaker. That we've talked about with The Undertaker. But it's a good point. Like you never see like big hoss women going after each other that can actually fucking go like this.
Which, but it's also to what I was saying earlier, a proving ground then when somebody can.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea Jade had this in her.
Yeah.
And she was great. Like
this was good.
I've been a Piper fan in the ring forever, indie days even. And I've liked the way that Jade has been presented in both companies because I thought that was her limitation. I just assumed that that's all she could do because that's all we've seen her do. Right. And I'm like, okay, good. You're hiding your weaknesses, like the Paul Heyman thing that we always talk about. But like now I'm like, oh goddamn, no, she's a babyface and she's getting her ass beat for a while and then had a comeback victory. It was the most entertaining match she's ever had for me.
Yep. Yeah. And it was 5 minutes 23 seconds. It was fast, but like for her, double, triple time.
It's longer than she had to work harder. She bumped. She sold legit. Like she's never had to sell before.
No.
And she sold legit for Piper. Made Piper look strong as hell in a loss. So like loved everything about this.
Yeah, I would like her being Piper, like use her to make like shine up everybody with her.
Yeah.
And then like give her some love down the road.
Let her have title reign. Yeah. These two I want to see as tag champs.
More so like, shine them up, but like also more of her on TV. Like
exactly.
Like you had just mentioned with Chelsea and everything. It's just like this all kind of works itself out. So they start the match with doing like a running shoulder block test of strength kind of thing, which again, women's matches don't fucking have this.
And when they hit, it was impact. Like bam. It felt like two horses like hitting each other.
Piper goes down first.
Piper's strong as hell, man. Like we know Jade's strong as hell, but Piper's strong as hell too. Like
Jade, nope, ignoring that note. Jade does a fucking blue thunder bomb in this match.
Yeah.
It wasn't crisp, but like it was a blue thunder bomb.
It was the blue thunder bomb to a very big opponent too. Like
my one criticism about Jade is if she keeps doing stinger splashes the way she does, her implants are going to explode inside of her chest.
Yeah.
She's leaning. Like hips can be in alignment with your sternum. Like she is diving like she's skydiving.
She's doing Sting. She's doing exactly Sting's stinger splash, like prime Stinger splash.
He never leaned that forward though, did he?
Like
he always like kind of turned sideways.
Later in his career, but like prime Sting, like that Steiner tag match I always talk about. He does like 50 stinger splashes, and then every one of them he's like doing Jade a million miles in the air and landing right like on his middle of his chest.
No. Go watch Crow Sting do. I'm like, do those, Jade. I was very concerned. I'm like, those things are just gonna pop.
That hasn't happened in a while. Maybe they make them different than they used to. It used to happen in wrestling quite a bit.
Pop the implants.
Yeah.
Different material, maybe.
Fewer implants too, because fuckface is not around anymore.
Yeah.
To force people to get them, but
God forbid.
Vince Jar, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Vince Jar's up to $700,000. Chelsea Green gets up on the apron. Jade Cargill knocks her off the apron, which lets Piper gain some advantage, and she lays in a dope as fuck cannonball.
Yep.
It looked cool.
It was like Kevin Owens or
Brody King.
Level cannonball.
It was good. The finish saw Jade Cargill gets her pump kick in, and then like a very good Jaded.
It was my favorite pump kick of hers too, because usually it's like from a dominant position. This was like a desperation pump kick.
Yeah.
It worked better that way. It was cooler. It was like kind of an out of nowhere. This is, I need to do this as a last resort kind of thing. Like a super kickoff it is. Mm-hmm. And it was just cooler. Like then when you see it coming, it's her thing, Jaded, like, and then that's it. This was like, oh, neat. And from a different perspective, I like that move a lot more.
Also too, when we talk about on the other show, when like I always bitched about like Swerve doing the Swerve stomp, but he preceded it with the house call, which like knocked him a little loopy. I'm totally fine if she uses a pump kick as a way to like keep people loopy because she is a very contrived.
She's got
like,
there's
finisher.
A lot of setup to her finisher, so you need something to get them effed up.
But if you're all glass Joe'd up, you know, like fine. Because
she can't do the thing every week that she did at the pay per view where she's catching people midair.
Where it's
like,
a creative finisher.
Yeah.
To Kairi Sane. So as we mentioned before, Jade, Cargill, and Nia Jax are up in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Nia better not injure Jade with sloppiness.
She's going to take a Jaded. It's going to be fun.
That'll be nice. I don't think you can sandbag a Jaded either. It's like, so, yeah.
I think Jade does what Jade wants you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought that, like, she might have been kind of a bully in the ring, though, until this match. And I was like, oh, no, she's given.
She gave a lot.
A ton here. Like, it just made me like her so much. She's supposed to be a babyface, too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I feel like you're a babyface now. I actually like you as a character. Before, it was just like, she's cool because she looks cool and she's dominant. So, that's fun to watch or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not cheering for you because you're just a big dominant, like,
it was too unbelievable.
You're not a hero.
You're never in peril.
Yeah, you can't be a hero if you're dominant. Yeah. Like, that's why I never was like a Goldberg guy back in the day because I was like, why are we even cheering for this dude? Who cares? Yeah, you're the Patriots. You can beat everybody. Like, this made me see Jade as like, oh, I can cheer for you in this match. Like, you're in there at risk of losing. You're like, and also just as like a real hardcore wrestling fan, it makes me look at her differently as a performer too. Like, oh, she's willing to get. I didn't know that she had that in her. Yeah. Like, whether it was just her being booked that way or she just was unwilling. Right. Some people are just unwilling. It could be like Ryback or whatever, just unwilling to give. But she clearly is, and that makes me want to cheer for her a lot more than before this match.
This would be an interesting wrinkle in her character if she's only in a defensive position when she's up against people her size,
like other hosts.
They don't do that usually because like Asuka, Kairi Sane, like smaller than her. So like that'd be kind of like they're not going to do it, but like just for
there's an opportunity to coming up again. It's going to have to be Nia doing the offense, but
I would love that.
Nia's no Piper.
No, she certainly is not. As Jade is leaving to go to the back, Bianca's music hits and they embrace as one's coming in and one's leaving. They do their little handshake, and then Bianca comes to the ring. We go to commercial. When we come back, we have a Shinsuke Nakamura vignette. How many of these fucking vignettes are we going to get until this?
Shinsuke, and like in his career, Shinsuke, I feel like it's been about one every 2 weeks for the last, since 2014 or something.
And they've built him to do, he just loses all the time.
Yeah.
But he says, my art is not just to compete, it is to conquer, to captivate, and to destroy all who dare stand against me in the ring, because I am here to claim what is rightfully mine, the pinnacle of SmackDown. And now that I am here, no one is safe. The master of strong style does not just plan to rise, I plan to reign supreme. So watch closely, because everything on SmackDown is about to change, and it will never be the same again.
I think he's booked so wrong. Like, there are very few, but there are certain performers that can be the lose every week, it doesn't matter, because you're great at being believable that you could win again next week, despite the fact that you lose every week. Brian Cage is that guy in AEW. Otis can be that guy when they're doing that with him in WWE. Like he loses almost every match. But then every time I watch him, he does something in the match that is like, oh, goddamn, for this 1 second, you made me think that you were going to win.
Yeah.
Shinsuke, at least this version of Shinsuke, he's not doing like the strong style that he wouldn't be allowed to, really, these days. But like without that, he's just a guy that loses every week.
Yeah.
So I have nothing invested in any of his matches ever. I wish they would just book him to be a kind of a winner or a mid-carder or something. But you can't keep doing these like super scary vignettes and then just have him lose 100% of his matches.
Yeah,
because you need to have some kind of an outstanding physical trait. Again, like Brian Cage, like Otis in the ring to be that guy. And Shinsuke is not that guy. He can do other good stuff though. So like do other stuff.
Also too, we have a memory. We remember when he was fucking amazing in NXT. And like some of us have deeper memories when he was amazing in New Japan.
Yes, absolutely.
So
one of the goddamn originators of strong style as we know it today is this man.
Like, come on. Like, let's hope this. Again, cautiously optimistic, but like let's hope they're putting this effort in, because then it's the whole like coming to SmackDown.
It's a new brand. So
like if
I'll give them that grace.
Yes.
Maybe it'll be a new beginning. Truly,
fresh paint a coat, as Conrad would say. Who doesn't have a wrestling podcast? He has a mortgage company.
Yeah,
not a wrestling. He doesn't know anything with
wrestling. That's how he. He's kind of a scumbag. Yeah, that's how he.
Is he really?
Yeah, I didn't. I just found that out recently about him. That like. The podcast, the whole reason behind it was as a sales tactic kind of thing. It's a lot of scummy stuff that he's tied to. He doesn't come across as a scumbag, but
should I start advertising my business on this podcast?
I tell you what, Dave, if we get to where I think we might in the next several months, you can, and it might be beneficial to you.
Excellent. It's fun costumes for dogs.
I have a male escort service myself.
Yeah, and apparently a hornet extermination.
Hornet assassination.
Hornet assassination. Queen of the Ring match, Bianca Belair versus Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae should be getting so much more. She's so good.
Yes, she is.
But she knows her role. 2 minutes, 48 seconds. I thought Bianca Belair at some point goes for Jaded. I thought that was a nice touch, but no one fucking knows. Nobody reacted to it.
The universe doesn't care about wrestling.
Candice LeRae, they're outside the ring. Candice LeRae goes for a Hurricane Rana to Bianca Belair, but she gets caught and like swung into like she's hanging upside down, and Bianca swings her into the barricade. I will always love that spot.
It's a great. It's a great spot.
It looks legitimately painful. Candice LeRae gets thrown back into the ring. Bianca's on her way back up. Indy Hartwell punches the back of Bianca's left knee. And Bianca sells the shit out of this.
She does. I couldn't tell if it was like I was giving Jade credit into this match because my same thing about Bianca that I've been saying forever. I'm like, I love her. She's incredible. But like, I just think the babyface thing has to be done because she's too dominant. She's too she's just too impressive for me to cheer for her. And then like pairing her with Jade, I was like, oh, that's even worse. But then just that one match Jade had like changed my perspective so much that I like Bianca more, even like before she started selling in this match. But then with the selling, I'm like, oh, okay, they're really gonna do the babyface thing.
Yeah,
cool. Like I was like dead set on you need to turn these to heel or it's gonna be super boring. But if they're gonna do this, what they've done this week, like cool, go for it. Be baby faces.
Stuck a pin in that heel turn, and they're going to be the 2-man power trip, and it's going to be fucking awesome.
As long as they keep working like this, If
they're going to be more brutal.
Keep working babyface.
Because
keep coming from behind and stuff
give Jade enough time to develop a skill set so when she does become heel, like she can be properly brutal, and not like hurt people. Like because you could turn her heel right now and she might just get a little too overzealous and you know out of her comfort zone. But Bianca Belair sold the shit out of her left knee from like just one punch in the back. She does a moonsault and lands on her feet, and her left knee just buckles. Yeah, Candice LeRae drop kicks her knee. She does a fall away slam and then a kip up, and like knee goes a little bit, and then she does a suplex attempt, and knee goes again.
She sold it very similarly to the way Gunther sold his leg.
There were a number of those. That's a good point. The finish saw Candice LeRae climbing to the middle rope for some kind of springboard. Like she's not in the corner. She's just like facing the crowd. Looks like she's about to do some kind of springboard, and she gets pulled into a KOD. Like just ripped into a fucking KOD. And Bianca Belair wins. and she's still selling the knee after the match. I'll be curious to see if this is the thing that they have down the road. But I think you're going to get what you've been wanting for a while, because Bianca Belair in the next round will face either Michin or Tiffy.
Did you see Tiffy might be a Tea Party person or something? Like I don't want to believe that.
No, I ignored it.
And it's not like
I ignored it.
But I can't. I logically can't come up with a. I'm like, maybe her little brother did that or something. Like,
that was everyone. So if you haven't seen, she posted a meme that was
I took it down almost immediately.
Yeah, which was perceived as racially insensitive. Not perceived, like
it
straight
was.
up racially
insensitive.
I was trying to soften the blow. It was straight up like
it was real fast, and like I saw it a few times, and then I was like, why are people even? It was because I didn't realize that there was sound, because it was like muted, but just by when you open Instagram videos or whatever, it's like muted. And then as soon as I hit the sound, I'm like, oh shit, Tiff, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this?
And all the comments were that I saw were like, why would you put this up? Like, people weren't mad. They were just questioning the motive.
Yeah, even if she is like a person of that like persuasion politically or whatever, why would you do that? It doesn't. I'm hoping it's just with somebody fucking with her.
Yeah. Well, again, cautiously optimistic. We had a Bloodline rated just RKO. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. The recap from their tag team match at Backlash.
Do they just call? I mean, they say RKO with the KO symbol on it.
There's no differentiation.
All right, I kind of like that. You just call
it's
it
like
RKO.
saying like instead of tomato, it's just tomato.
Yeah.
Right. We're supposed to know the difference.
The KO just happens to be in like athletic tape.
Yeah, it's the back of it. It's the back of duct tape.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, it's the part you can't get off the floor or the wall or whatever. Backstage, we have Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa, and Paul Heyman. Tama Tonga is like in the corner pulsing like he is a like rabies victim.
He's like Blanca from Street Fighter 2.
It's a better analogy. I like that a lot. Paul Heyman comes in off camera and he goes, Solo, can I have one moment of your time alone, please? And Solo looks back at the other two guys, and they ease out of earshot, apparently. Says, thank you. Listen, I know my place in life. I'm Roman's wise man. And the crowd is... So the crowd's either chanting... They're not. We want Roman. It's super piped in because it's the hottest chant of the night, if it's the case. It's suspiciously loud. But Heyman says, but Solo, you're making decisions. Solo cuts him off. He says, like the decision to lie and pull Roman out of the draft... Yeah, that one backfired on us, Paul. Because of that mistake, we got drafted in the third round. We should have been when we should have been number one. It's like you're trying to take money out of my pocket. You trying to do that?
Is there a signing bonus for getting drafted in the first round? I thought your contracts were like already pre-negotiated.
No this made no sense. It added a wrinkle to Solo's character, which I mean,
I thought Solo talks better than he's ever talked.
This is his best promo. Yeah. You said you're trying to take food out of. Trying to take food away from my kids to eat, huh? You want my kids to starve, Paul? Or last week, you walked by my brother Jay. Did you try to give him a signal or a look that you needed help? And Paul Heyman just whimpers, no. And he does. Like if you watch Raw last week, like when they interacted, Paul Heyman kind of makes a gesture.
He does to help me in the face, like, save me, please, kind of thing.
I saw some video like on Instagram where a guy he was a POW, I think, in Vietnam, and he's reading a letter. And they're videotaping the letter, and the whole time he's blinking in Morse code.
That's awesome.
Like,
I mean,
help
awesome,
me kind
but
of
still.
thing. Yeah. So that just made me think of that. He said, okay, I understand you're the wise man. I know you're trying to protect Roman from the draft. Protect us, protect the family, protect the bloodline. Okay. And you haven't spoken to Roman since he lost our title at WrestleMania, right? And Paul Heyman's right. Solo says, well, I have. Paul Heyman pops his head up. Like it's the end of The Sixth Sense. Like his entire face reacts to this.
Makes me think that Roman's been like training in the middle of a volcano or something, and that's why Heyman's like, that can't be true.
Where did Batman go? What was that big hole in Batman Begins that he had to climb out of?
Oh, that's where Bane came from too.
That's where he is now. By the way, this is all horseshit. He's not talking to Roman at all.
No, he's not.
He says, I've spoken to him, and until he comes back, I'm in charge of the bloodline. I call the shots, and you will be my wise man by orders of the tribal chief. Give me a hug, wise man. Bring it in. I love you. I love you, wise man. And he's looking at Tonga Loa very suspiciously. Solo Sikoa is completely full of shit here.
He is. He's absolutely lying.
It's
it's going to be great because we all want Roman back, and so we're going to cheer for him regardless.
Yes.
So set this shit up now.
Dude, even if we don't cheer for him, they're going to make it seem like Wembley Stadium's cheering for him when they're in Wilkes-Barre, Massachusetts, or Pennsylvania or whatever. There's an Andrade vignette, which annoyed me because we got a ton of these a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're just... So Andrade says, I am a third-generation luchador. My destiny is here in WWE. The end of the era of Andrade El Idolo has begun. Okay.
You know what would be great for Andrade? If he was in some kind of a tournament that he got to showcase his in-ring wrestling.
Is there one of those going,
other great wrestlers.
One of those going on right now?
I can't imagine. They're ready. They had one in AEW a while back.
No.
Yeah, you know what? He really stood out in that one too. So there's a history there of Andrade getting himself over in the ring by having good performances in tournaments.
Maybe if they bring back the
If only they had
King of the... That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he's got visa issues. He can't go to the Saudi.
He is sitting patiently waiting for his uber powerful wife to come back to throw her weight around.
But now she's making a horror movie. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, she's starring Ashley Fleur. Like it's listed as her actual name.
It's spelled like F-L-E-H-R?
F-L-E-I-H-R, I think. Yeah, she's doing some kind of a not like big budget, but like a mid-budget horror flick. They just announced that she's doing with a director like I've heard of.
I will watch it.
Yeah, I will too.
I did not watch CM Punk's, but
I did better than I expected it to be. Yeah, it wasn't like amazing, but his performance was like way better than I thought it would be.
Were you able to like separate the fact that like he was like
took a while, but yeah I was eventually, which means that the performance is pretty good. I mean, it was really the movie demanded a ton from him because it was basically him in a house by himself.
Oh, okay.
For like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So it was a one-man performance essentially.
I'll give it a shot.
So it was pretty solid. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't amazing, but it was. It didn't look low rent. It actually looked like the production value was decent.
The trailers looked dope. I remember
his
seeing
performance was better than I thought it
was. Was it better
be.
or worse than See No Evil?
Much better than See No Evil.
Yeah. We can make a movie right now and it'll be better than See No Evil. So we have a King of the Ring match next, and best 2 minutes and 28 seconds of my life is not what I'm going to say here because this was an assassination. This was a travesty of affairs. Angelo Dawkins versus Tama Tonga.
I'm like, why are you...
The incumbent winner, the presumed winner of the entire King of the Ring, Angelo Dawkins.
He looked amazing, though.
He always looks amazing. He should be the galactic champion.
I don't give a shit what Wikipedia says. What's his face? His partner is not 6'1". He's like 6'4".
Montez
Ford. In this too, he did his thing, and then it was the cool pose to the camera.
Yeah.
It was a great shot. But I'm like, that man like 6'8",
big boy.
not 6'1". But no, I thought your boy looked wonderful.
He still can't figure his ring gear out, and I think that's part of the reason I like him.
I'm like, I've come around to. I think I like that. I like his like kind of goofy. Scatter shot ring gear situation.
He went back to his old pose where he's like stirring something up.
Yeah.
He stopped doing that for a while because I think they were trying to be more serious, but it's back when they had the red solo cups and shit. But Angelo Dawkins versus Tama Tonga for 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Tama Tonga's entrance is fucking rad.
Yeah, it is.
It's a shitload of fireballs.
Yeah.
It looks like a Bowser castle, like
he's
in a
been
Mario.
presented absolutely incredibly.
I love it.
Tama Tonga.
So the match had Tama Tonga attack Angelo Dawkins right as the bell rings. He stomps him in the corner, clotheslines him a bunch. Then he beats him into another corner. Tama Tonga misses a stinger splash, and Angelo Dawkins gets some punches and clothesline in. Does a jumping back elbow, corner tornado, splash, and then he does like a huge pounce shoulder tackle.
Yeah, look great.
Because he's the fucking greatest thing on SmackDown. Solo Sikoa gets on the ring apron and Angelo Dawkins punches him off. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? It's Angelo Dawkins. So once he punches him off, Solo Sikoa and Tonga Loa are like by the announce table, and Montez Ford gets on the apron and does a flipping dive and lands on his feet. And then he poses in like he lands
that's
right
the pose
in front
I
of
was
the camera.
talking about, where he it was
like
they couldn't have said it better.
It's like he's in Bad Dudes. Like,
Yeah.
It was the coolest fucking shot. Angelo Dawkins does a chef's kiss, perfect sky high to Tama Tonga.
One of my favorite moves of all time.
Oh.
And it like works so well for him too because he's such a big, like tall dude.
He's the spiritual successor to. He's like
he is.
He's the upgraded version of D'Lo Brown.
Yeah.
Tongolo throws Montez Ford into the ring post, and then Solo Sikoa gives Montez Ford the Samoan spike. Not only is Angelo Dawkins a tremendous wrestler in the ring, he's also a tremendously big-hearted individual because he cares so much about his friend that it's distracting him from the match.
Yeah.
And because of his large heart, he turns around and he eats pay dirt from Tama Tonga, and that's the match.
Like, I'm glad he got to be on TV and showcase that he's awesome in the ring. We already knew that.
I want him to be my friend.
Why?
I want him to come over to my house.
You sound like me talking about either KO or Will Ospreay, depending on what day of the week we are. But no, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's so good.
But
so is Montez Ford.
We
These guys are so good.
We need them to use those guys properly, which they still are not doing.
No, they're not.
Fodder for Tama Tonga is not where Angelo Dawkins really should be, in my opinion.
No, it should be Angelo Dawkins versus Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes.
Dude, I would be all in for that.
You would be all in. We'd be booking tickets to Saudi Arabia right now.
As the non-resident Angelo Dawkins super fan, I would absolutely love for him to be at that part of the card. Absolutely.
You know what I think they need, and I was thinking about this, and you're kind of reminding me of it. We need a European title back.
Yeah. Speaking of,
yeah, I think it's stacked enough now where
you couldn't. They can afford another mid-card title.
Yeah.
With the two rosters and
it's special.
There's so many wrestlers.
None of this cruiserweight shit. Give one show the TV title. Give the other show the European title.
I never want there to be a weight class delineation in pro wrestling. We don't. I can believe that Spike Dudley can beat Bubba Ray Dudley. I don't need you to do weight class delineations.
No.
Even in a sports oriented. I think Bryan Danielson can beat anybody on the AEW roster. Yeah. Because he's presented that way, so just do that. But I do like the idea of maybe another, mid-card title.
And Angelo Dawkins will have it for 1,000 days, which I didn't care. This was where I almost threw my TV out of the window. Solo Sikoa gets in the ring, and he gives a Samoan spike to Angelo Dawkins, and I almost called the cops. The whole time this is happening, Paul Heyman looks terrified, but now next in the tournament. Tournament. I can't say it. Tama Tonga will face.
You got shook because Angelo Dawkins getting.
My body's vibrating with rage. I will bring the smoke, Mr. Tonga. He will face either LA Knight or Santos Escobar in the next round of the tournament. Probably going to be LA Knight, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blair Davenport vignette up next.
Don't know much about her. I knew way more about Lyra Valkyrie coming in than I do about Blair. I haven't really seen her work very much.
No, this is a cool little thing they did, though. She said she's narrating this whole thing, and they're showing clips of her work in NXT. Said, throughout my career, I've been unjustly labeled as narcissistic, egotistical, or sadistic, and that is simply not accurate or fair. Winning, that's not enough to succeed. You have to send a message. So that's what I do. I look for the fragile, delicate parts of my opponents, and I break them. I show the whole world that your little heroes are really, truly pathetic. Anyone can be respected, appreciated, celebrated, but Blair Davenport will be feared.
Blair Davenport already has more character than either of the two women last week that I was like, they need something. Yeah. She's got 10 times more than either of them already, and she hasn't wrestled a minute.
No, and I don't know what her work is like, but she gives, right away, I'm like, oh, you have NXT... unbeatable Shayna Baszler vibes.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen her wrestle, but I believe it.
I'm pretty excited.
Well, now I'm excited for both female call-ups because the one has been I knew she was great, but she's just incredible in the ring.
Yeah, her matches
and the other one they're clearly are getting behind because they've given her character, which Zoe Stark's still waiting for that. She's doing her best to make it happen. The character stuff, make it happen in the ring, but if you don't give her anything to work with, she's just a blank slate.
Right now, she's fodder, man.
Yeah.
Again, they're bringing up all this extra roster members, and
maybe that's what she is, because she is kind of like what I was talking about. She is physically imposing and believable. It's believable that she could beat anybody.
Yeah.
So maybe she's the Brian Cage.
Yeah.
She's the lose all the time. But I always kind of believe there's a chance you might win this match.
Yeah.
That might not be a terrible role for her.
No.
She wouldn't want to hear that, I'm sure.
No.
But it's not a bad role to have in a pro wrestling company.
I think she's in a position where, cool, do this for now.
Yeah.
and then let's wait until this next gen. Because like
I'd like to see them take a shot with her.
Well, not yet, because there's a lot of old guards in the women's division.
Yeah.
And like fucking Charlotte Flair's got to come back, and like there's a lot of.
What I mean, take a shot. I mean, take a shot with some kind of a character. Just
Yes.
Anything. Give her. Before you make her the thing I was just talking about, the Brian Cage of the women's division in WWE, like take at least a shot with whatever. She's a narcissist or she's a goof. Or
you know what they should not do? I don't know why I haven't thought of this in forever. Remember what they did remember what Justin Gabriel's character was after he left WWE? I don't know why this is in my head. I blame the BCAAs.
I remember him being South African.
He was the Darewolf.
Oh my God!
He loves like skydiving and like free climbing, and that was like his. I'm supposed to think you're gonna win a title because you like skydiving. Because as you're saying, like give her something to do. For some reason, the word Darewolf came into my head.
Like I don't mean like make her like the old days, make her like a hockey player or a garbage man or whatever. I mean give her a personality trait. She has zero personality traits.
I wouldn't hate if she was a garbage man. There's never been a Lady Drosy. No gimmicks needed for the last King of the Ring match of SmackDown. We had AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, which was a WrestleMania 34,
around there,
somewhere around there rematch. 17 minutes, 14 seconds.
I think I like this better than
this is a great match.
Too. It's way better than I remember Randy Orton having in a singles match maybe ever, in a long time.
I really like this.
Yeah,
I really like this match.
Which I don't like Randy Orton matches.
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, I wonder if Sully watches this
I
match.
enjoyed it. I'm like, good match is a good match, and this was.
Major down right away. AJ Styles' new song is still fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's such a great one, and we talked about it already, but
these producers who put these like narrations in front of the song, I don't need that.
And the reason they, what's his face, Steph Rebel does it is because he can't write like a memorable song to save his goddamn life.
They have a library full of songs. I remember when hearing a story how Bray Wyatt picked his song. Yeah. They went through a giant, like, hey, we have a giant catalog of shit.
How about this? You just made $80 million at WrestleMania. You were making $100 trillion in Saudi Arabia. License a goddamn song, you cheap pricks. Like
they're paying for a cult of personality.
Come on. Do it for a few people. It's not that prohibitively expensive. No. I know Tony Khan is like from a billionaire family, but if they can afford to do that many, the WWE can do a few.
Also, it doesn't cost $20 million to license a song.
No.
Like, if you got to pay a couple grand every week. Also, too, make a deal because I'm pretty sure Living Colour has a career because of CM Punk.
There's a lot of great bands that would license their music for not a ton to get the exposure. Absolutely. That are going to be a lot better and more memorable than the crap that guy or group or whatever it is pumping out.
It fucking sucks. So the match had some shoulder tackles. And Randy Orton clotheslines AJ Styles to the outside, and then we go right to commercial. Yeah, they had to get him. They got the entrances in.
At least it's better than when it's like entrance commercial, other entrance, whatever.
Even worse on Raw, people didn't even get entrances that should have, which was really irritating.
That's just the way Raw is.
3 hours.
I've just accepted 3 hours.
Now. You have 3 hours. Yeah. Let everybody get a fucking entrance. AJ Styles gets control of the drop kick, and then like that. So Randy Orton is sitting down, and AJ Styles has that like running forearm, but like he kind of drops to his butt too, and then he does a soccer kick on the apron to Randy Orton on the outside, and then Randy Orton backdrops AJ onto the very padded guardrail, which notwithstanding, it's still probably fucking hurt, but there's a lot of panic out there.
We did just watch ECW Heatwave 98 for our other part of this.
You spoiled it!
Easter egg. If anybody is listening and it was like, oh, I couldn't figure it out, now I know. Yeah. The big difference between like padding levels there.
That's true.
Here. So,
yes.
It probably stood out to you that, it's really padded. Because we just watched like people wrestling in a garage, basically.
Yeah. AJ Styles jumps front, so he gets knocked into the crowd, like that little area where they're in the crowd, but not really in the crowd. He jumps he being AJ Styles, jumps on the guardrail, then to the announce desk, and he aims to do it. I think it was like one of his forearms. Randy Orton dodges it, backdrops AJ Styles onto the ring apron, and then onto the announce table. It doesn't break. Yeah. But it's the
announce table seems to be pretty fortified these days because there was a few announce table bumps over the course of the two shows and it didn't break.
I think they have like pins in them.
Yeah.
Because they don't like break like tables do. They just collapse like IKEA furniture.
Well, that's how they used to do, but they like this week there was a number of bumps on them, and they just
I think
they reacted like they were permanent fixtures or
there's
something.
linchpins in there. That's my best guess.
Yeah.
But Randy Orton says, "Fuck it, let's do it twice." He does another backdrop on the announce table, and then he takes like a bow, like he's just finished a play. It was cool. AJ starts focusing on Orton's left knee again. A lot of targeted offense and
A lot of professional wrestling happening in WWE this last week, Dave. Last couple weeks, actually.
Yeah, no shit. Randy Orton rolls to the outside, and then AJ. So he's on the out. He's by the ramp, like where you come in. That side of the ring. AJ Styles is on the opposite side by the announcers, and AJ Styles runs like sprints around the ring, and then does like a shoulder tackle to Randy Orton's left knee. It looked dope as fuck. Corey Graves. This annoyed me. This has nothing to do with the match, but like you had said, is there a signing bonus for being earlier in the draft? Corey Graves calls there. Oh, both of these guys are first ballot Hall of Famers. What? What does that mean? Everyone's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's no ballots.
No, there's no
so
vote.
far. I mean, for most of the years, it's just been one guy deciding.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no ballot because there's no votes.
It really hit my ears weird because I think I was enjoying the match so much.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck did he say? First ballot Hall of Famer. AJ stays on Randy Orton's knee, and he does that like where he puts his leg on the bottom rope and he jumps and he sits on it with all of his weight. The third time he tries it, he gets kicked over the top rope. Randy Orton is trying to do his draping DDT, one of his fourth move of his 5 moves of doom. Gets reversed into a calf crusher. What is it? It was called the calf killer, right?
No, calf crusher.
What was it called in New Japan though? It wasn't the calf crusher.
Oh shit, I don't even remember.
Because they had
it's been the calf crusher for so long that I don't.
I think it was like the calf killer or something like that, but they changed the name to be more.
It sounds like, I mean, that would be in line with. They do a lot of killer stuff in Japan.
Could be making
that they
this up, but
changed to WWE when it comes to WWE. But
calf
I love the move.
Yeah. Oh, it looks great. It looks super easy to get on too, which I like.
Yeah.
The calf crushers reverse into Randy Orton's first 2 moves of doom, which are just 2 clotheslines. And then AJ cradles as a reversal for a near fall. Just like it's both of these guys' signature offenses.
Yeah.
And they're countering it, and it looked awesome, and the crowd was sitting on their fucking hands.
For 2 goddamn shows, the crowd I was pissed off at. I'm like, am I crazy? Because I usually don't like Randy Orton singles matches.
No.
I'm enjoying the hell out of this, and I'm like, is my volume fucked up on my TV?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? I just watched AJ Styles in France, like people singing a song to him for 20 straight minutes. Now I'm watching him have like the best Randy Orton singles match that I've ever seen, and it's totally silent.
I couldn't get over it. I wrote so much detail for what they did because like someone's got to appreciate this shit because that crowd fucking didn't.
I'm telling you, man, the WWE universe does not like pro wrestling.
No. And there's so the next thing was awesome too. After this, they're both just kind of like AJ's on the ring apron where he usually sets up for the Phenomenal Forum, and he's just kind of like dazed. Randy Orton just kind of standing there, and he stands there for a long time, and then Randy Orton goes for a draping DDT, and then AJ attacks his left knee. He fucking baited him.
Yeah.
Like, good psychology.
It was really good. This whole match was really good psychology. Yes. It was something I always appreciate. It was like 2 veterans who I've seen everything in your toolkit. They're only using the stuff that I know that they have, but they're so smart about when they do it and how they're working the match that it makes me feel the ups and downs, which is harder to do than just the moves. They're really doing a nice Edge and Christian kind of job here of like knowing when to do what.
Yeah.
And then when the crowd doesn't appreciate it or respond like they fucking should be, it's infuriating.
Well, when they're, especially like the crowd should know something's different because these 2 also watch each other's matches, so they know what they're to look for. Like, pay attention, crowd.
Yeah.
Come on, they're doing the work for you here. A Phenomenal Forearm attempt. Randy Orton slaps the top rope, knocks AJ Styles off. AJ's going for another calf crusher. It takes a second, but he gets it, and Randy Orton gets out, and he throws a power slam, which is the 3rd move of Randy Orton's 5 moves of doom. Randy Orton sits AJ on the top rope, and he goes for a superplex, and AJ slips out, and he pulls Randy Orton's foot. And Randy Orton goes face first into a turnbuckle. He no-sells this and just does a draping DDT right away. Is that move called vintage Orton? This is a real question because they say it all the time, and the more vintage move is the RKO.
Yeah, much more vintage. Like twice as long as the RKO.
Yeah.
I don't. They do say it every time he does it.
Every time.
But I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I
don't
think
know
I'm
if
just
this
going to
is
start
called.
calling it Vintage Orton.
I mean, they do, I guess, because every time he does it, they do say Vintage Orton.
Huh. That's a thought I had. Never thought
But
about
like,
it.
yeah, there's other stuff, even RKO and a few other things that he's done. I think that's more vintage.
Then
it goes back
draping
further
DDT.
than the draping DDT.
Yeah.
Draping DDT started like halfway into his career.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Well, Vintage Orton.
Yeah.
Randy Orton, or the RKO is blocked. AJ gets up on the ring apron. Phenomenal forearm. Randy Orton grabs the bottom rope he doesn't get the 3 count on him because he grabs the bottom rope. And AJ's fucking pissed at this point because he just hit his finisher. He signals he's going to do the Styles Clash. And as was predicted in the promo earlier, he got an RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So nice
a
callback.
really good RKO, like a true out of nowhere. Like, oh, goddamn,
It was
Randy,
good.
good job.
For the W, so Randy Orton will face Carmelo Hayes next in the King of the Ring tournament.
Yeah.
That should be a good one, too.
It will. I'm sure it will. If Randy brings this level of effort and enthusiasm to that match, yeah, it will be.
Absolutely. So that was Friday Night SmackDown.
And very similar to what I'm going to say about Raw and what I said at the start of the podcast. My biggest complaint about the show is the crowd.
Yeah.
I just don't like WWE fans. I don't agree with them on what is good and what is not
It's
good.
starting to become North American fans. Like, France ruined the country for me.
France made it stand out, but I'm like most AEW crowds. I'm at least.
Most, yeah.
I agree with what they're cheering. There are like Windsor a few weeks ago sucked ass, but like most of the time, I'm at least I'm with them.
Yeah.
So there's matches where I'm like, come on, get up for this. It's better than like the Shibata Osprey match in Windsor, for example. But most of the time I agree with them. Most promotions in general, I agree with what the fans are doing because that's how wrestling works. Like wrestlers understand, the good ones, how to work the crowd, and that there's a reason for that. WWE just is, for some reason, a totally different thing.
It's these foreign whites, Sully. Foreign whites are out of control.
It's the audacity.
So we have Monday Night Raw. It's from Greenville, South Carolina at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. Apparently, Bronson Reed defeated Akira Tozawa. And apparently,
this was not
Sami
okay.
Zayn defeated Otis.
Sami Zayn. You didn't see Sami Zayn Otis? That was a fun goddamn match. I guess
2 minutes and 5 seconds on that one. The other one was 1:15.
The other one sucked, but
I thought it was very strange that they cut the Intercontinental Champion.
So then you also didn't see that promo. No. The point was, Gable is like reading the riot act to his troops.
Yeah.
He's got all 3 of them lined up, and he's like bitching them out. Maxine for losing in her tournament match last week, and as like punishment or whatever, or for them to prove themselves, he's like, I lined up matches for you this week.
Yeah.
And what he first says is, Otis, you get Bronson Reed. And I was like, holy shit, we're getting Otis versus not Otis. And then he thought better of it and was like, no, I want my number one guy to soften up my opponent. So I'm going to give you Sammy. I don't want to see any goddamn worms or any dancing from either one here or whatever. And the way that match went was Otis was had the upper hand, was winning because he's Otis. He's a big bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't fight the urge to do the worm because the crowd is behind him because he's Otis, because he's got a lot of charisma, and he does it. And then Gable gets up on, he's like super pissed off about that, so he gets up on the apron and causes a kind of a distraction, which causes Otis to then eat a haluva kick, which costs him the match. Tozawa match was just a squash the other way, but then there was aftermath where Gable was like smacking Otis around, and Zayn, who had already left, came back and like made the save for Otis.
Okay.
So there's like story there.
Oh.
So Hulu would have been better served to let you see that.
So I have fixed the issue, by the way. It turns out I was not recording Monday Night Raw. So I was watching the whatever they put in their library.
Yeah, but I figured that was the case, but like their library still should have least the main story beats. Like
For your Intercontinental
cutting.
title program, which is the only mention I heard of Sami Zayn or Chad Gable on the show was that they're apparently fighting for the IC title next week.
Chad Gable was all over Raw. Like you had like 3 backstage segments or something.
None of them.
That's crazy.
It was a 3-hour show, and I saw that it was only an hour and a half. I'm like, how? And plus, they leave commercials in.
I was
on
like, fast
Hulu.
forwarding a lot of stuff, and I saw a ton of Chad Gable this weekend.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, I was really bad. I don't know who's making the decisions on the Hulu side.
Yeah.
What gets cut, but like I don't know, not the greatest. So the opening.
I mean, they cut the. I remember they cut Xavier and Gunther.
Yeah.
And that's a story that's been continuously told like through this show too.
Yeah,
Like,
so this will be the last week. Fingers crossed. If I set everything up correctly, that I will. Also, too, I can't fast forward through their version. Like if I record it, I can fast forward through everything.
DVR is the way to go.
Mass upgrade for me. The opening of the show had Gunther and Kofi Kingston split screen walking in. They're fighting tonight in the quarterfinals. This match was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like watching them come in, I'm like, oh, I'm going to like this. This was one of my favorite, when I'm looking at the brackets, I'm like, I never saw that. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It just felt like a huge goddamn deal. And they also had Jey Uso and Ilya Dragunov walking in. They're having a quarterfinal match as well.
And that was the one I was most interested in because I was like, can Ilya Dragunov drag Jey Uso to a good match?
I know how it ended because I gave him a chance and he let me down. I'm back to the Jey Uso skip edict.
Did you didn't watch it?
I know the end. I watched the end.
Pretty good match, Dave.
Yeah, well, I'm never going to see
Ilya
it.
dragged him to a pretty good match.
It's good.
I wasn't happy about the finish, but I saw it coming. But like,
dude, they're not going to
Ilya can bring anybody to.
I was thinking too, they're not going to give us Gunther and Ilya.
Not yet. Especially on this show, Ilya's talking about it. They're teasing it. They're saying like he's mentioning it over and over now that like I'm the guy that beat him clean last.
Yeah.
Like after he said that, I'm like, well, they're not going to do that yet. No. Then no way. And Jey Uso is like, he is undeniably super over.
He should be.
And he actually is much. I give Ilya all the credit for the match that he had on the show because it was Ilya doing it. It was a good match. So Jey was involved in a good match. So it's fine. He can move on.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad you saw it. It's never gonna see my eyeballs. Because I tried, man. I tried.
I don't blame you.
I gave him a chance.
For me, Dragunov, like I said, he might be my current favorite thing going on WWE TV. So like he could wrestle Nia Jax and I would watch it.
Put it this way: if it's Jey Uso versus CM Punk in a retirement match, I'll have to read about it afterwards. Drew McIntyre is arriving, so he's outside and he's in his ring gear already. So he must have got ready in his car. And he's marching from outside directly to the ring. This is our one long camera shot per episode. It's happening right here. It's very cool. And Drew McIntyre's coming to the ring. And as Drew McIntyre's coming to the ring, we see that they have put the Queen of the Ring and King of the Ring crowns, like museum displays, on either side of the ramp. It looks awesome. Gives a little bit of prestige.
It does. I didn't like Gunther going like, because it made me think of him putting a crown on his head. Yeah. I was like, it's too silly for you. Yeah. But it looked great as a visual for sure.
Yeah, I loved it. CM Punk chants are starting loud once Drew McIntyre gets into the ring.
Pat McAfee says, talking about, Cole says something about propaganda. And Pat McAfee's like, well, some would argue that all journalism is propaganda. And I was like, there's no fucking way the WWE universe knows what you're talking about there. They don't understand that at all.
No.
So like, you got to dumb it down a little bit, Pat.
Yeet.
He does later. Don't worry. Yeah.
That's
with his
the, woke up Rocky. Thought there was a threat in here. Drew McIntyre says, so he's regarding to the, reacting to the CM Punk chance. He says, maybe if we're in Atlanta or Charlotte, but Punk's not going to show up in Greenville. He only makes the big towns, brother.
Love that.
Also, too, like, it's what you do. You're a big goddamn star. You don't show up everywhere. Now, what Punk told me when pushed, he's Satan himself. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist. When the greatest trick CM Punk ever pulled was looking like a drug addict without ever taking any drugs.
Dave, when this match happens, we may end up being at odds because Drew's done such a fantastic job. I might be pulling for him to win this feud.
I want Drew to win. I think Drew, when they eventually fight, Drew needs to win.
Yeah.
Like Punk knows what he's doing.
So amazing.
Yeah. Also, too, like there's way more like upside potential. Pushing Drew to the moon. No, the greatest trick he ever pulled was convincing you to trust him time and time again, no matter how many times he breaks your trust. Management, CM Punk found that you keep taking him back, and it's like an abusive relationship. I don't understand it. The other thing I don't understand is why you buy all the crap that he spews out of his mouth about every week. I don't like talking to people like they're stupid, but if you're a CM Punk fan, you're stupid. Just look at the facts. Last week he was in the ring calling me a coward, challenging me to a fight. You literally watched me leave the arena in my car. He arrived 1 second later, came to the ring, and started talking his trash. It's like he's got a stooge on the inside, Adam Pearce. It's good. Yeah. It's good. And the week before that, I was on the stage. He was in the skybox. I go to the skybox. He's in the ring. He's running from Drew McIntyre.
Got a point.
This all made so much sense. Punk, eventually I'm going to get my hands on you and I will torture you and you'll beg me to tear your tricep. But until then, I'm not going to waste my time on a guy that might not be cleared for about 20 years. Oh, speaking of things that'll never happen, Jey Uso lost another title match. He's cooking. He's funny, too.
Yes, he is super funny.
Super funny. Yeah.
Did you see his tweet?
Which one?
When the CM Punk DLC dropped. So they just added Punk to 2K.
Yeah.
And like 12 hours after his DLC dropped, McIntyre like tweeted a video or a GIF maybe of like Punk's character in the game. He does a Pepsi plunge, but like when he does it in the game, he gets hurt right away. Like his knee, and he's like, he's been in the game for 12 hours. He's hurt already.
That's pretty good. That'd be a fun like thing in the game where like it takes age into consideration.
Yeah. I'm surprised it doesn't. That game does so much
pretty deep.
already.
It's pretty deep. So he says, speaking of things that'll never happen, Jey Uso lost another title match. My title match. His reward, my spot in the King of the Ring. This is complete BS. I'll deal with you later, Jay. The number one thing is in my priority list is the World Heavyweight Championship and that paper champion Damian Priest. I've been watching you backstage, Priest, walking around. You're the big man with your bootleg bloodline, which I liked. And then Damian Priest's music cuts him off. I mean, he's saying a lot of fucking accurate shit.
Yeah.
Damian Priest puts his ass right in his place in a second. Yeah. This is the best promo Damian Priest has cut.
It is, for sure.
That I think.
It's like, my note, a little condescending, but Damian Priest trying his best not to sound scripted. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Like he really did make an effort to not do the bullshit that I'm always complaining about.
Yeah.
Like he did. He sounded like a person.
It sounded conversational.
Yeah.
My gut reaction to this is he feels like when Triple H took over DX. Like he was a different guy, different guy completely. Shawn Michaels goes away, and then like he's got to be this new like relatable cool guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
5 minutes ago.
You were just that. Yeah, you were that other thing.
I couldn't get it out of my head.
I mean, and I do think they're going babyface with him. He's going to be the babyface when they inevitably break this group up. So I think that's why they're doing the relatable kind of stuff. Well, and he is like speaking more truth.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get help from Carlito. Like he's doing more stuff that leads me to want to cheer for him. Like
that is a thing that the Carlito thing is him being a stupid babyface. Like that's how you know for sure.
Yeah.
Like he's like accepting like the bad guy into his group like a babyface would, because for some reason WWE books babyfaces like
they've been better. A little bit,
historically,
but historically they're the worst ever.
They're really like
if
socially
you're
inept,
and you're not the Rock or Stone Cold, you have to be an idiot.
Yeah. Michael Cole acknowledges that the only reason that Drew McIntyre is not in the King of the Ring is because he is injured. Right, so just reminding the crowd watching. By the way, the crowd super piped in crowd noise for Damian Priest. That place went like Triple H just came back from its quad tear in Madison Square Garden.
They weren't even like hot for most of Drew.
No.
And Drew was awesome the whole time. Like, I just don't like the WWE universe.
No. Unless they're overseas.
The overseas WWE universe is the best ever of anywhere. Any company, whatever. Like
foreign whites, man.
Yeah, foreign whites. Audacity to cheer for real good pro wrestling.
Yeah. Damian Priest says, Drew, haha, you got some serious issues, dude. Since you can't shut that hole in your face, why don't you do something different tonight? I'm thinking you actually say what you're going to say, but say it to somebody's face. Fair.
I like that Drew immediately assumed he was talking about Punk.
Yeah.
Not him.
Because I would love to say it to somebody, but that made him look more unhinged.
Yeah, that he's obsessed with
mentally somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I liked it.
I would love to, Drew McIntyre said, I would love to say it to somebody's face, but if you were listening, CM Punk keeps running away from me every single week. But since you've been a man, you're being a man, and you're stepping up to me right now. I'm going to say something positive about you right now, because I know your story. You have a very, very inspirational story. You've worked your arse off for years. You've put a shift in. You paid your dues. You deserve all the success in the world. You just don't deserve to be champion. And then this is when he said, my next door neighbor Dave has a very inspirational story.
Yes, he does.
Doesn't mean that he should be world heavyweight champion. I took great offense to that, because I am.
He knows you're a Punk guy.
That's fair. He also doesn't know that I am the current reigning defending Blue Thunder Pod. Predict more pay-per-view matches.
Is
correctly.
that a world title? Or yeah, I guess it would be, because it's our top prize.
Yeah, let's string as many fucking ridiculous adjectives as we can. I think that would be great. This is a case of the title making. Oh yeah, doesn't mean he should be world heavyweight champion. This is a case of the title making the man. The Raw title is in its infant stages. It needs the man to make the title. It needs Drew McIntyre, and you knew you couldn't beat me one-on-one, so you had to use that briefcase again. I loved everything he said in this little blurb here. He legitimized, or didn't legitimize the title, but he made me feel like, oh, this is something I should care about, because it's new, right?
Yeah.
And it should be on somebody super strong. It also makes Damian Priest look like he's fighting from underneath, just based on that line.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be champion. You can't make this title. I can make this title. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Good work in like fucking 3 sentences.
My only
right?
problem was the whole time I'm thinking these are two guys that are like physically similar, and one is like vastly superior in the ring. So when that happens, it's gonna stand out.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I props where it's due. He did a good job.
But also too, since my name was evoked, I will be cashing in my Money in the Bank, and I will be in the third man in the triple threat, and I will die a horrible death.
You'll fit better than Bronson Reed in the triple threat that we're getting there.
Yeah. I forgot, dude. Since that wasn't on my TV,
Maybe that's why they cut it, because
that.
they were like, Bronson Reed's involved.
Yeah, they're choosing that for some reason.
A real hot rivalry going on between Gable and
between
Sami Zayn.
Between two awesome
Bronson Reed
wrestlers.
has absolutely nothing to do with.
It's like what was it at WrestleMania? Kane, Big Show, and Raven. It's like what the fuck? Damian Priest says, "Stop! You're delusional, dog. You're out here blaming everybody else for your failures. Let me ask you a question. Did you not choose this life? I mean, you chose to be a WWE superstar, right?" And Drew's like, I've been a WWE superstar since I was 21. And they go, say what if you think he's a BS champion? And the crowd complies. And Drew McIntyre points and starts laughing.
Drew is the best what chant killer of anybody in wrestling.
Is it Liv Morgan? There's a lady that's starting to steal his bit.
Liv does that too, yeah.
It's
my other
she's
current
great too.
My favorite thing.
Damian Priest says, I'm still a champion. No, but check it out. You know what you should choose to do, though, Drew? Choose to find a mirror, look at the reflection, then blame that asshole. I'm going to break it down for you.
The hole was said on TV.
I'm going to break it down for you. I wanted to cash in on Seth Rollins, man. I really did. And then you and we could have went to war at WrestleMania, but you stopped me from cashing in multiple times. That's your fault. Then you explained to the world that if I was smart, I'd wait for you to beat Seth, then cash in on you. What happened? That's on you. Now let's talk about
like that. Because that's what happened. That is what he did. The whole time he was like, why no? Don't do it now.
Called him on his
wait
bullshit.
till I get it, and then we can handle it then.
And like I already forgot about that.
Me
so
too.
It's like, man, good. In lieu of a video package, like just put it in the fucking promo. Like talk to each other like, hey, well, wait a minute. That's what you said is bullshit. Now let's talk about WrestleMania. You finally achieved your goal. All you had to do was leave. All you had to do was grab your wife's hand and go enjoy your moment. And then what happened? You saw Punk and you made Punk more important than yourself, this championship, and you made Punk more important than your wife. Good line. Yep. Let's not forget the part where you proceeded to get your ass whipped by a one-armed man. So yeah, I cashed in. Now you know what? Your elbow's going to heal. You're going to get cleared. So what? You want a shot at this world title? Fine, you got it. But Drew, check this out. You can call me a paper champion all you want, but when I'm done with you, you're going to eat those words. And now you can rise. Now you all can rise to that. Okay.
What? That was a reference to something I didn't get.
It's his catchphrase. All rise for the Judgment Day. You can all rise to that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a reference to something Drew said, or that's why I was like, what? Why?
It's like how
So that's dumb.
like Swerve awkwardly finishes promo because his
yeah.
catchphrase is a question.
Yeah.
So I like that this is going to be a loser eats paper match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
That was fun for me. Up next, they did something, again, Paul Levesque era, doing something really cool here. Queen of the Ring match, and Io Sky versus Shayna Baszler went 9 minutes 58 minutes.
Tough for the first time.
Dude,
and
they must have like opened like some time capsule and pulled these two out of 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And this like was
let them do their shit.
This was a fucking NXT match.
Really good.
And Shayna looked amazing.
Shayna looked like a beast. She looked like a beast. Like I've said during our draft special and everywhere else, I'm like, I just want her to leave, go wrestle in some other promotion. I don't care where, because she's got so much to offer. They're just not going to ever let her do it again.
Yeah.
They let her do it here.
Yeah.
She didn't get the win, but she looked like a beast.
Yes. And like she did a bunch of old NXT spots that I haven't seen in a while. It's like, man, just give her the ball, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Io
They
Sky
even referenced on commentary, she was the only person to ever tap out Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
And like, okay, keep it going. Keep it going.
also too, Ronda Rousey needs to fucking get over it. Like, move on, dude.
she
Like,
does.
sorry.
When
Toots.
Logan Paul is the mature one in your online conversations.
Grow up.
Yeah.
Io Sky comes out first, and then Shayna Baszler like attacks Io Sky before the match starts. These and they say at some point these two used to battle for the World of Stardom Championship. I didn't even know Shayna Baszler was in Stardom.
I didn't either, which is it's weird that I didn't. But
like I just can't place her in that. That's got more Joshi vibes, right?
Yeah, Stardom is like like the gaijins that you would think of are like Tony Storm, Mariah May. It's usually like higher impact, that kind of striky,
all right, hang on.
flippy stuff.
I need you to differentiate Gaijin and
foreign person in Japan. Basically, that's all it means.
Joshi is
Joshi's female Japanese wrestlers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but like usually the foreign, the gaijin that are in Stardom or any of the other like the big women's promotions, they're more that style, like the super kicks with a big pop sound and
they
like
get a headbutt and a hip attack.
Yeah, headbutt and hip attack. Exactly. Shane is more what I would consider like a North American MMA adjacent style. So it was surprising to me that she came from Japan.
Yeah. She probably looked like, I don't know, like an unbeatable giant.
Absolutely.
In that promotion.
Yeah.
You know?
She looked like an unbeatable giant in NXT.
And in this match as well.
Yeah.
And I wrote, at this point, Io is so fucking good. She was, her title reign was not great, but like, she's great.
Yeah.
She's fucking great.
She's wonderful.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler did a spot. I'm pretty sure she does this all the time, but for some reason it felt like more impressive this time, where she's standing on the middle rope and she pulls Io Sky's like arm. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Nope, no, I'm not. She stands on the middle rope and pulls Io Sky up by like her bent arm.
Yeah.
Right? That looked amazing. Shayna Baszler throws Io Sky outside.
Like the chicken wing, right?
The chicken wing, yes. Never saw this before. Shayna Baszler pulls the ring apron up.
Yeah.
And that
looked nasty.
The ring pad is held down by like a bunch of like cables.
Yeah.
Or like cloth, thread, or whatever. But it makes like V shapes, and Shayna Baszler puts Io Sky's arm through one of those and then kicks it.
Yeah, it
Never
was it's like cables, but they're like super taut, so they're not going anywhere.
It's got to pull the ring apron down.
So when she strings her arm through it, like those cables are not moving. When you kick the arm, the illusion at least is that it's like going to break the arm.
Yeah,
like, it looked great.
It looked fucking great. There was like, and this is why Io Sky's so good. Like somehow she walks up Shayna Baszler and Hurricane Rana's her. I don't know how. I rewound it. I'm like, I don't know how she got up there.
It was awesome. It's like difficult. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how she really pulled it off. And also, I think you need to be a really good base too to have that move done to you.
Yeah. So
it's just impressive on both sides.
Yeah. And then after the Hurricane Rana, Io Sky does a Bryan Danielson head kick. To Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler does a eat defeat to Io Sky's armpit, like just further strength, like beating up the arm. And then she does the CM Punk step up knee strike to the corner. Shayna Baszler's got Io Sky up top, and she goes for an avalanche deadlift, and then Io escapes. Shayna Baszler falls like she's about to fall outside of the ring, but her leg gets caught like in a tree of woe kind of thing, and she's just dangling upside down outside, which, again, cool visual. Io Sky does an acai moonsault, springboard dropkick, and Meteora right back to back to back.
There's like 3 Meteoras in this match. I didn't realize she used that move quite so much. I love the Meteora.
I think it's available since
yeah.
The proprietor of it is doing business elsewhere.
Is currently laying in the middle of a broken table.
Yeah. Also very happy she had shorts on for that show, because I'm like, oh god, the simps are gonna be pausing. Because like when you watch, like if you go on Instagram and you try to like watch recap, like I love looking at the comments, but when it's like female related,
it's rough.
It's uncomfortable.
It's always rough.
It's like Joel Gertner's like narrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another plug: watch Turnbuckle Time Machine, ECW Heatwave at 98. Io Sky goes for her over the moonsault. Shayna Baszler gets up to her feet. I'm sorry, Shayna Baszler gets her feet up, and then
I don't think I've ever seen this before.
No, where she
like countered the counter to a moonsault.
Yeah,
yeah.
Io Sky lands on her feet and like
grabs she like grabs the feet that are up.
It was cool. And then Io Sky kicks Shayna Baszler in the face, goes for the pin. And it's like some weird kind of pinning combination because it is snapped into the Kirifuda clutch, which is Shayna Baszler's like, I've held the NXT Women's title forever because of this. Yeah. It's super dope. But Io Sky rolls out of it. She rolls out of it immediately. Yeah. Throws a crossface on, and then Shayna Baszler.
My only real gripe about the match was it was too easy for her to get out of that move.
Yeah. There's not a lot, and this is on both shows I'm noticing, and I think, again, because we're watching older wrestling, there is not an emphasis on letting submissions breathe in either company. And like, I'm watching it in old pay-per-views. I'm like, this is really effective.
Yes, it is.
It really adds to the match.
You're right. Everybody's gone away from it.
Yeah. Like again, she tapped everybody out with this, and Io Sky rolls out in like 5 seconds. And then Io Sky does a dragon screw to the corner, to a corner Meteora. Yeah. The finish saw an over the moonsault for the win. So Io Sky is moving on to the Queen of the Ring tournament. She's either going to face Lyra Valkyria or Zoe Stark.
I probably would have liked Shayna to win here. Yeah. But I'm not like super pissed that she didn't, because she looked great. Yeah. And I was just happy to see her getting some shine on TV for a change. I always think Io looks great, and she's had a little bit more success, on TV as the last few years or whatever than Shayna has. So I'd rather see Shayna move on, but I understand why. And if she's got to lose, I'd rather they do it in like a showcase match. Yeah. Again, the crowd didn't give a flying fuck about this match.
No. Which is a shame. It was a really good match.
It was great. Yeah. Just about every match on this show, I was like, come on, let's go. Like, I am enjoying this. Yeah. You should be too.
Should be too. I completely agree. Backstage, next we had the Judgment Day with a mustacheless Carlito. He looks like 10 years younger somehow.
I think he looks like Steven Van Zandt in The Sopranos.
Oh, Jesus.
Except with like a Sideshow Bob wig on.
That's pretty funny. And then he's going to play I'm on Fire later that night as well. Guitar player for the Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. We have Finn Balor telling, like, there's a dartboard, and JD McDonough presumably is playing. We don't see him, though. And Balor's like, you should be focusing on Braun Strowman. And that's the only time they mention that, because it's a through thread from last week. And I'm like, good. Keep reminding us and don't abandon shit. Dominic Mysterio walks in with Carlito, says, Damian Priest walks in. Somebody walks in. I didn't fucking write the order of
Priest, I think.
Priest walks in?
Yeah.
Dominic says he knows that Carlito and Damian Priest have history, but figured it would be a good time for them to all work together. And Carlito says, we agree on a lot of things. We all agree that Rey Mysterio is a selfish bastard, right? I dealt with that when he gave away my WrestleMania spot to Dragon Lee, but no one knows more than Dom. Look, Rhea's out, Dom's injured. If I look to this crew, y'all could use some extra muscle. Look, all I'm saying is we can all benefit mutually from this relationship. Damian Priest says, Carlito, look, everything you're saying is fine. It sounds good. If the boys want to work with you, that's on them. But as far as I'm concerned, you're not welcome here, dog. Stupid babyface.
But babyface.
Babyface as fuck, yeah. Carlito says, I get it. You don't trust me yet, but I figured you trusted your boys. Let me just say this. The most stubborn minds can be changed, and maybe one day we could all be amigos. Good.
Yeah, Carlito was pretty solid here again.
Yeah.
After I kind of gave him shit for a couple of weeks, it's been pretty good last couple.
Yeah, I think the entire viewing audience gave him shit, and he's like, "Oh, that's not cool."
I get to try now.
These,
By the way, I'm glad I ran down all the Gable stuff at the top.
Yeah,
because
we jumped over 5.
There's like Gable interspersed in all of the things that we're talking about. Yeah. Like he's throughout the show. It's amazing that they cut him out.
I would love to be privy to why they choose to
he was
cut
like the
what
star
they
of
cut.
the show this week.
Well, apparently he wronged somebody at Hulu because he wasn't on the show at all.
Maybe Vince is at Hulu and he doesn't like short guys still.
God
so.
damn it. Get rid of Gable. There is now $700,000 in the Vince McMahon job. Up next, we had King of the Ring match, Gunther versus Kofi Kingston. They got 13 minutes, 50 seconds. I was really annoyed Kofi did not get an intro. It's a 3-hour show. Give Kofi a fucking intro.
Did he? I think he did. I think he probably cut Hulu? For you. I think it was a Hulu. It was a fucked up one. It was just the kind I hate.
Yeah.
Intro, commercial break, other package, then other intro.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. I think they just cut him.
Both are wrong. Give this guy a guy. It's a tournament match, man. Like make these.
Plus, Kofi brought it here. Like,
yes. They do highlight that Xavier Woods is on crutches due to Gunther, and he is the
other match that you didn't get allowed to see because you watched on Hulu.
I just had to take this all at face value. They could tell me that my mom was in crutches because of Gunther, but if it wasn't on the show, Mom, were you on the show? Because you're not on Hulu.
Gunther did actually brutalize him. I can tell you from
Kofi tries. He attacks before the bell. I wrote that he is dressed like a billionaire obsessed with SpongeBob SquarePants because his silky boxer shorts are just very SpongeBob-y. Kofi's focusing on Gunther's right knee, and the bell rings while Gunther is down. Did you notice that? Like they both got in the ring.
They actually made reference to it on commentary too. Yeah. They were like, "The ref's not going to wait and make sure he's okay to start the match." Like, okay, which I'm glad that if the ref's going to do that, which is kind of a fuck up.
Yeah,
I prefer the commentary then does say because it makes it feel like real. Like, hey, he should have.
Well, we all saw it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like
But instead, like for years, they would have ignored something like that and pretended it didn't happen. Whereas now they're just acting like it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, he probably should have waited until they were both set and he could check to make sure everybody was ready to go.
Yeah.
It just makes it feel like more of a real fight that they're like calling out a mistake that the ref may have made instead of just trying to pretend it didn't happen.
Also makes me want to pay more attention because if you're going to start letting one thing slip, then you're going to let another thing slip, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, like unless that's that could be a story too. Like they tried to do one of the failed efforts in AEW at a storyline was that the what's his face the Bucks
Brandon Cutler.
No, they're the ref that they always use, the old looking guy, the one that's the one that nobody knows his name.
The Rat Fink?
He's no, that's Bryce. Everybody knows Bryce. The old looking guy. It's he used to ref all the Bucks matches, but he's kind of a shitty ref, kind of in story, shitty ref. And they tried to do a story with him being an extra super shitty ref. It didn't really work and they abandoned it. It was a good move to abandon it. Yeah. But I think that is a story that could be told. So if you're going to make it a story, that's fine too. But even if it's not, if it's just like a one-off, I'm glad that they acted like you would if you were an announcer calling a fight and the ref fucked up.
We haven't had any ref angles in a long time, so I'm good with that. Kofi Kingston misses Trouble in Paradise and he gets German suplexed. But Kofi Kingston flips to land on his feet, drop kicks Gunther's knee, and then he does a fucking boom drop from the top rope.
Yeah.
I never saw this before.
I don't think I have either. That's what I was thinking of when I said Kofi brought it here. I was like, God damn, Kofi.
And that was we're 10% into the match.
Yeah. Right off the bat.
That should have been
it really hurts your viewing experience that you didn't see what Gunther did to Xavier. Because the reason that Kofi came out the way he did, and I loved it, was because he was so fucking pissed that Gunther brutalized his best bud.
Sure.
So he came out and did all these things that trying to kill him before the bell and then doing moves he's never done before, right off the bat because he's pissed. He's telling a story. So it hurts that they didn't. Hulu didn't want you to see the story.
Well, you're making me very excited about it. Also, too, last time I got to deal with that shit.
Yeah, thankfully.
Fingers crossed that my middle-aged ass actually set up the DVR correctly. Gunther. So Gunther's on the outside now, and he catches. Kofi tries a tope, and Gunther catches him, and he throws him into the side of the ring. And then Gunther was watching SmackDown because he does a backdrop onto the very padded guardrail and then the table. He does the Randy Orton spot.
Yeah.
Gunther puts Kofi Kingston into a Boston Crab on that announce table then, and then it goes to commercial, so I'm not sure how he got up. Back in the ring after commercial, Kofi is staying on Gunther's knee. He has apparently regained offense, and Gunther just chops the shit out of him to stop it.
I can confirm, by the way, that it was a entrance commercial entrance.
So here, let me see it again. Sully's note there is entrance commercial match. Boo. At this point, they felt it necessary to say this is the 23rd King of the Ring tournament, but it's only, surprisingly, Kofi's third. He lost to Sheamus in 2010, and Sheamus would go on to win that year. And then the last one he was in was in 2021, which was the last one held, which is the one Xavier Woods won. Gunther does a bow and arrow submission to Kofi, and then he boots Kofi Kingston in the fucking head.
Yeah.
He starts chopping Kofi in the chest, and my first thought is, isn't his chest already caved in?
So I thought that for many years, and very recently I saw some kind of one-off little video thing of Kofi Kingston talking about his chest, and he says it is not. It's a congenital thing.
Well, of course it's not.
From
in kayfabe, though.
But I actually thought that was the thing that happened to wrestlers, that there was deterioration of muscle from getting chopped, and it's not. It's just from a congenital thing that you inherit from and as you age that can deteriorate.
If that was the case, soccer players would have no pecs because of how their chest,
that's true.
Shit like that. No, because what did he say? That the Big Show chopped him so many times that his fucking chest broke? Scott Steiner's got the same thing.
Scott Steiner's actually different because it was in this video package. They're the thing that Kofi has. There's a name for it. It's a long ass medical name. I forget it, but the thing Kofi
Borealis.
has, same thing that no, because I'm not. We can't do that bit with this because I'm not going to come up with what the actual word is. He has the same thing Jericho has. Kofi and Jericho have that same thing that makes their chest look that way. Scott Steiner's is a totally different thing. That's like a botched surgery, or not a botched surgery. They had to split his rib cage and tear through that muscle to save his life during a surgery at one point. And then when they put him back together, there was no way to put his pecs back together properly. So that's why Scott Steiner's chest is that way.
So you're saying Scott Steiner is Humpty Dumpty?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the thing that Kofi Kingston does not have that Chris Jericho has is a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
Kofi Kingston. Oh wait, Gunther does. I don't see this in matches too often because Eddie Guerrero used to do it all the time. Gunther does a lucha libre backbreaker on Kofi. I'm like, that I forgot about that. And again, Gunther's selling his knee.
Did Kofi do his froggy thing? Okay, I didn't want to miss that. I only make a few notes for moves, but
Gunther goes to the middle rope. And he tries a back elbow and he missed. Duder's got to stay off. He's got to keep his ground game strong because he is only literally in trouble when he goes to the fucking ropes.
It's like Ric Flair for most of his career.
Yes. He's just never going to learn. Gunther tries a Rainmaker.
Yeah.
It's reversed into an SOS, which is reversed into a gut wrench power bomb. But Kofi escapes before he gets dropped. And then this is where he does his standing, Gunther's standing and Kofi does a frog splash to a standing Gunther at this point.
It's a froggy crossbody is what I labeled it. I don't think I'd seen him do that or anybody do that for that matter. Looked awesome. It was like a D-Lo frog part too, a full-on ribbit froggy thing into a crossbody. It just looked dope.
It's a video game thing that never registers. Like when you do a top rope dive to somebody, you're like, this is going to be successful 3 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
But we're going to try. It's cool. Bring it into the... Well, he's a video game guy. He probably knows.
I'm sure.
Gunther puts on another Boston Crab, but Kofi escapes pretty quickly. And this is where I said there's not enough time to let submission seem plausible. Kofi does hit a SOS. Kofi tries some kind of top rope attack, and then Gunther just drop the shotgun drop kick to his back, and then he hits a Rainmaker for a 2.
So one of the few moves that I was like, just because Okada does it, and nobody's doing it as good as Okada.
Right.
So Gunther, 99% of his moves look great. That looked a little slow and clunky, but it's just because I just watched Okada use the same move to win the main event.
It's like when everybody started nailing in code breakers. It's right. It's not as good as his for some reason. at one point Gunther goes to the outside and he bends Kofi's back around the ring post. Like he grabs a foot and an arm and just pulls him around the ring post.
I've seen this one before, but not in a while, and it's a great big guy heel thing to do. Like you don't see it too much, but it looks great.
Gunther attempts a power bomb on the outside, but it's reversed into a Hurricane Rana. And Gunther goes flying into the post, and then we have a Trouble in Paradise outside. So Kofi has hit Trouble in Paradise outside. Michael Cole's first words out of his mouth, Kofi's got to get him back inside. He does not. It is a tournament match. It is not pinfall required.
Yeah.
He can let him count out.
Yeah.
And Gunther made this the closest 10 count I've ever seen. He comes back at like 9 9/10 into the ring.
You know, I wouldn't hate a count out.
No.
Like, they don't even do it on either show. Just to make these teases feel more plausible. Yeah, like because we haven't seen one in forever. Like used to be all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand why they got away from them because like in the 80s and like early 90s, it sucked. We were tired of seeing them. But now do one every once in a while because then it would make it like more suspenseful when somebody's
just don't finish pay-per-view main events with them. Like some companies used to do.
Don't do that.
The finish we had Gunther go. Kofi goes for the Trouble in Paradise. It is sidestepped into a power bomb. Kofi kicks out. And I shouldn't say he kicks out, he kicks up.
Yeah.
Because Gunther
he's got him stacked.
Puts him right back into the Boston Crab, and he gets a tap out for this.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. This match
great
was
match.
awesome.
It's a great match.
Awesome. So I said, Gunther,
again, still the crowd was a little bit more into this one, but still not close to where they should have been.
I might start watching it on fucking closed captioning. I'll just listen to I'll listen to soccer crowds on YouTube. Like I'll find some loop. There's got to be like a 10-hour looping soccer crowd chant bullshit, and then I'll just read the closed captioning.
Just pump it in, like do the hairdryer bullshit.
That's a better.
It's better than not
doing
nothing.
It, but they're doing it for
these
other
assholes
shit.
Do nothing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't pump it in for like Damian Priest promos. No. Pump it in when Gunther and Kofi are having a banger, and everybody's sitting on their goddamn hands.
We're gonna get spoiled though, because it's gonna be like self-driving cars, where like I'm gonna go to the show and I'm like, I don't have to do anything because they're gonna make us sound like we're fucking going ballistic.
No,
anyway.
Dave, that'll never happen because you're actually a wrestling fan and you understand that cheering is part of the goddamn fun of going to a wrestling show. I don't know what these people pay their money for because it looks like they're not having a very good time.
Well, everybody in town saw Fall Guy already, so they needed something else to do. So Gunther at this point is going to face either Jey Uso or Ilya Dragunov. And I wrote it's going to be Jey, and then the match happened. And it's going to be Jey. King of the Ring, by the way, it's gotta be. King of the Ring is on May 25th. In case we're all wondering when it is. It's in a week. Yeah,
midday because it's over in Saudi Arabia.
Hell yeah, to the midday part. Yeah. We get
especially since we got a night pay-per-view the following day.
Oh, that's the same weekend. That's right.
Sunday night.
Ugh, no.
Well, if I'm choosing one, it's not the daytime one on Saturday.
They're all going to be good. We get a recap from the Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan damage control segment from last week. Backstage, we have Jackie Redmond and Adam Pearce. Jackie Redmond says, "What's your big announcement about those tag titles?" Like, there was more to that, but it was basically, "What's your announcement about the tag titles?" And right before he makes his announcement, New Catch Republic comes in, and Tyler Bate thanks Adam Pearce for being drafted on Raw, and Pete Dunne's fucking annoyed,
just angry as hell,
and he drags Tyler Bate off. So it was clearly something he was talked into doing. Yeah. And the announcement is that there's going to be a number one contenders match for the tag team titles. It's going to be on this show: New Catch Republic versus AOP versus the Creed Brothers versus JD McDonough and Finn Balor, and the winner gets a tag title match.
There's too many verses there. Just have a couple of matches. Yeah. I don't need all those teams in one match.
Trying to shine them up. Or just decide it's the Creed Brothers.
Yeah, that too. You could do that
too. Jackie Redmond says, she shifts gears. Why wasn't Braun Breaker put in the King of the Ring tournament? Adam Pearce starts some babbling bullshit, but basically he says he deserves it, but he doesn't want to shove him into the deep end already.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Nope.
And neither does Braun, at least that makes sense. But I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Adam Pearce, he's been squashing dudes on the main roster for months now.
Yes.
For months. But Braun does walk in, to your point, and Braun says, "Let me explain something to you." No, he doesn't bark. My opponents, when it comes
McAfee certainly does.
Oh, is he dialing it in every time he's on the?
As soon as this segment ends, McAfee's like, "Oh, we're gonna get to do this all the time, Cole," and he does that for about 30 seconds.
Ugh. I begrudgingly like Pat McAfee.
I changed my mind on him 20 times per show because he can be funny and he can be like smart and witty, and then he also like plays to the lowest common denominator way too much. So like when he's doing one thing, I enjoy him. When he's doing the other, I can't stand him.
Yeah.
So like it's really difficult.
He should go to the school of the franchise Shane Douglas for how to do proper color commentary.
Yeah, everybody should.
Yeah. Again, Turnbuckle Time Machine Heatwave 98 has not dropped yet, but turn your notifications on and you'll be the first one to know. But yeah, Braun Breaker says, "Let me explain something to you. My opponents, when it comes to the King of the Ring, I wouldn't have been in the deep end with them. They would have been in the deep end with me. I would have drug them all underwater and watched them drown right in front of me and smiled. I should have been in the damn tournament."
Yeah, he should have.
It's kind of cool that he's not, because he's not going to win. He's coming off really credible.
You can still lose and be awesome.
They don't want to beat him for a long time.
Cheat to beat him too. That's the other thing.
He's not really in a program though. Like who's a
No, he's not. Like
start one in this. I guess you're right. Queen of the Ring tournament match. We had Lyra Valkyra. Am I saying that right?
Lyra, yeah,
Valkyra.
Valkyra. I want to say Valkyrie every time, and it's Valkyra.
It should just been Valkyrie. Whatever. Her versus Zoe Stark. This went 9 minutes. I didn't have a lot of notes for this match just because I had to start really rushing at this point.
I thought this match was fantastic, and it was the by far worst example of great match with fucking zero crowd. Yeah. There may as well not have. This may as well have been during COVID with the reaction that they got. They worked their asses off here. Yeah. Zoe Stark actually tried to incorporate some character stuff into the match too, which she really hasn't done in the past. She's like cocky heel kind of stuff, smacking Lyra Valkyria around, saying like, "You don't belong here, you're minor league," or whatever. And then she's just a incredible in-ring performer. So like Enziguri she does is one of the best I've ever seen, and she does it multiple times in this match. It's absolutely fantastic, and she gets the win. I was surprised by that. I was pleasantly surprised because evidently they see in her what I also see in her. That's she's a fantastic in-ring talent. So push her.
They're not being quiet about NXT call-ups. You guys are stars,
which nice. It's a nice change. It was not the way it used to be. Like and now it's now we got the one, at least on the women's side we have the one that is the in-ring dynamo. Now we've seen her and she's winning all her matches, and the other one we don't know anything about her except that they give a shit because they gave her a cool package and
very cool package.
She has a character and stuff. Yeah. So it's both ways. But I really enjoyed this. This was the one that like made me make the note though. I'm like, fuck this crowd, fuck WWE Universe. Yeah. I'm tired of these people like ruining shows basically, and pushing the company to want to do less good wrestling because they're not going to keep putting on good wrestling if people are not interested in cheering for it or acting like it's a big deal when they get to see it. Yeah. And this was a really, really good match.
Yeah,
nobody made a peep.
You know who else didn't make a peep? Lyra Valkyra. She didn't do the usual shit when women scream.
Oh yeah, no.
She looked like she had a bruised voice box this whole match. Like I was like, oh, usually they all start screaming right here.
I like where she talked. When she talked too after the match, she did. She cut an in-ring promo, which I always dig. I actually wish AEW would do this, the in-ring post-match promo, because they get so many great promos post-match backstage that they only put up on their goddamn website or on YouTube. Yeah, and then most people don't see it. And like post-match promos are great because you get the people going with their adrenaline still going. So they, it's a different energy you get from them. And she, my note from this was that she out-Irished Becky Lynch by a shitload because she spoke Gaelic for half of the thing. And
it was tough to understand.
Well, at first, Gaelic is one of those things that like, at first you're like, is her accent just so thick that I'm not understanding what she's saying?
Which is what I thought was happening.
But then it's like halfway in, you're like, oh no, this is another language.
We did not mention that the finish was Zoe Stark tried her Z360, which is an awesome finisher.
And both of these women have great finishers.
Countered into Lyra Valkyra's Nightwing, which is it's the JML driver.
It's the Daniel driver,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And Lyra Valkyria advances. She's going to be facing Io Sky next week, and that match should
Goddamn.
be off the goddamn charts.
Amazing match that goes off to fucking total silence. Hear a rat pissing on cotton, as they say.
Yeah, because we had to save all of our cheering for Becky Lynch versus Dakota Kai. Which
She's just a heel to me. Every time, everything she does is like Reed's heel.
I have
don't
no
know.
interest in her. Like
She does the she keeps doing the she did to Lyra Valkyria here. She's like, keep it up, little buddy. Like, that's condescending. You seem
Super
like a condescending prick.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be uneven playing field. She's your competitor. Stop acting like that if you're supposed to be a babyface.
Maybe they're doing long-term storytelling where we look back in 3 months and go, hey,
that'd be great. But the universe doesn't pick up on it because they still cheer for Becky Lynch.
Universe doesn't pick on it on the other show either. I am the universe. We had Becky Lynch versus Dakota Kai. Again, 10 minutes. Match starts with Becky's stomping Dakota Kai in the corner. She throws some elbows, and then she does she hits her face on the turnbuckle in all 4 corners. And I made the note here: crowd is dog shit. They pop for the entrance, like you mentioned all the time, and they love entrances and finishes. Baseball slide on the apron.
I will say, not here. Our home city, Chicago. We're one of the places that actually cheers for the right shit.
Us in France. France cheers for everything. So they're fighting outside for a while. Dakota Kai gets back in the ring, and Becky Lynch is fighting off Io Sky on the outside. Becky Lynch goes to the top, gets thrown off. Dakota Kai returns the turnbuckle favor, she just does the spot that was done to her. Becky's doing some weird ass bumps in this match. I don't know if this was rehearsed ahead of time, but she's hesitating and pausing at weird spots.
Terrible chemistry.
Yeah.
They worked through it, and
it was tough, man.
But they had real bad chemistry.
It was super noticeable.
Yeah. There was 3 different hesitation that caused almost a botch, but not quite a botch. But it's just straight chemistry.
Head up. Becky does her jump up from the bottom rope into a kick, and that goes right to a commercial.
I did like Dakota. I don't know if we did. When she was doing the turnbuckle thing, she was like, you know how much I like talking in the ring? Yeah. She was like, you want the turnbuckle? Here's the turnbuckle. I was amused by that.
I like Dakota.
Yeah, I do too.
Lot.
I do too. Again, I was pulling for the different person than the crowd.
Yeah. Well, because she has infinitely more charisma, and she's the leader of a dope heel stable.
Yeah, and she understands her character and what a babyface and what a heel
God
is.
forbid we enjoy the things that are well written. Dakota Kai does the same jumping rope stomp. She tries it again. She misses that one. And Becky does draping middle. So Dakota's stuck in the middle rope, and Becky Lynch goes to the middle rope, sitting on the top rope, and does a drop kick. A leg drop. She does a manhandle slam. It's reversed into a pump kick.
I hate her moves. Names of her moves too. The manhandle slam. The
Beck-sploder makes me gag.
Yeah,
it's
all of her
uncomfortable
move names are stupid move names.
Beck-sploder.
What's the finish too? Is a dumb name.
Disarm her.
Disarm her.
That's at least fun. That's eat defeat.
Eat defeat is immeasurably better than disarm her.
Disarm her. Well, what are you supposed to do to her? You disarm her.
I just don't like Becky Lynch.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up real fast. So the finish saw Becky Lynch. It's a superplex onto Dakota Kai into a cross arm breaker, and then repeatedly rolled back and forth pin combo, arm breaker, pin combo, arm breaker, and then slides into the buckle up, disarm her.
Did we pass it, or did you not get the backstage segment between Becky, Lyra?
I did not.
Liv. Oh my God.
No, Liv was on the show for 30 seconds when I watched it.
I need you to see this. I actually have to pull it up and
we'll watch it after the show.
But I need you to see. Becky Lynch throws the worst punch I've ever seen in pro wrestling.
Oh. I want to watch
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
At first I didn't understand that it was a punch because it looked so goddamn bad. So what happened in the backstage segment is
was this before or after the match?
I think this was before this match, which is why it is occurring to me now that we didn't talk about this yet. Yeah. Lyra Valkyrie is backstage. Actually, it was before her match even because she hadn't wrestled yet. And Becky Lynch. That's when Becky Lynch is doing her oh yeah, go for it, kiddo. You just keep working hard thing that I was saying. It reads as like condescending.
Yeah.
That's what this was happening. And then Becky like walks off, and then it's Lyra, and she's being interviewed after Becky gave her like, oh, go for it. And then Liv walks up, and Liv is like, yeah, welcome to the show. You know, it's great to have you here. It's going to be fun competing against each other. But I got to ask you, has Becky Lynch always been this big of a bitch? Because they're both Irish. So it's like assuming that they, and that was supposed to be the heel thing. And my thought was like, yeah, has she always been this big of a bitch?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, well, you can ask her yourself. And Becky was standing behind Liv. Like she had walked back around and stood behind her, like, oh, he's standing right behind me, huh? And when Liv turns around, Becky throws, I guess, a punch. It's the worst looking thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then Liv sells it great, falls and like acts like her jaw is going to fall off or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And then Becky says some dumb shit at the end of the segment. But
I don't get it, man.
Ugh.
I don't get her.
Yeah.
Months ago, I asked you, I'm like, Becky Lynch a good worker? I asked you that when we
Like
reviewed
our first show, I think.
It's like Elimination Chamber review.
Yeah.
I was asking you that. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, there's a lot of old guard in this fucking show. Like, and I get it. Like, it's supposed to be Rhea. And we're just putting a Band-Aid on shit right now.
Plenty of talent there, though.
But they're building Liv nice, too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
Oh, no, I love what they're doing with Liv.
If it's at the expense of Becky.
My hope is that's where this goes. This is only happening so Liv can win the belt
in
off
Saudi
her.
Arabia.
Yeah.
She better fucking win in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, she better.
She fucking better. But yeah.
Well, she's wearing her goddamn scuba suit.
Scuba Steve. Big Daddy, add it to the list. Also, sidebar, I read Scuba Steve from Big Daddy was not a real toy, but it was based heavily on a toy that Adam Sandler loved as a child.
No shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what the name of that toy was?
Scuba Bill. I don't know.
Probably something like anti-Semitic. It was from the 50s.
He's Jewish.
Yeah, but still.
All right, fair enough. So then after the match, Kairi Sane and Io Sky are attacking. Oh, I'm sorry. She didn't tap out. Kairi Sane and Io Sky attack Becky Lynch to cause the DQ, so Dakota Kai does not have to tap out. And then after Lyra Valkyria's music hits, she comes out to make the save. And then both are from Ireland. Cool. Liv hits the ring through the crowd, and then she throws Becky Lynch into the post, and then she bails. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get a lot of Liv this week, but apparently
you
Hulu
missed her nice little promo segment.
Hulu is doing some kind of blocking to me. Up next,
I'm like, Liv, she's short too. Maybe that's it. There's no Chad, no Liv, no short people.
There's a height requirement to making it to Hulu. Up next, we have the tag team #1 contenders title match, Fatal 4-Way. New Catch Republic versus Finn Balor, JD McDonough, the Creeds, and Authors of Pain. I just wrote awesome match. I just want to see the Creeds wrestle every week.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's about all I had. Yeah. I was like I said, I would have rather this been split into 2 matches.
Yeah.
Just because you get more wrestling that way. Like I like all the people involved here.
Also,
pretty much.
We got another week to kill. They could have done that.
They could have. Yeah.
2 matches tonight, and then the qualifier next week.
It's a 3-hour goddamn show too. Like, plenty of time to put a lot of stuff on.
Yeah.
You'll see now that you're DVRing. There's a lot of repeated video shit that we don't need to see 3-4 times. You could throw another match in there, get some more people on TV, get some other people shine.
Well, clearly you don't need it because I'm not seeing it. So like, don't tell me that it's required for our short-term memory.
Yeah,
whatever the logic is.
Well, it is for those people.
It's fair. They're too busy watching that instead of cheering. Like, what happened? What just happened?
Well, yeah, they're watching the replay of the videos on their phones while like 2 workers are busting their asses in the ring. Like.
At some point, Carlito comes out, gives a backstabber to Pete Dunne to help the Judgment Day. JD McDonough throws Pete Dunne into the ring, and Balor hits the coup de grace for the win. So we have a rematch of...
I was not happy with the winner of this match. No. It was a good match, and I was like, why? It's the worst of the all the options here.
So at King and Queen of the Ring for the World Tag Team Championships, we're going to get Awesome Truth versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Cool.
I will probably fast forward that match.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got to fucking watch it and take notes, but I don't want to. We had a backstage segment with the Judgment Day and mustacheless Carlito next. JD McDonough celebrating, Carlito celebrating, and then Damian Priest says, "What happened out there?" That was cool. And he asked Carlito if he can handle his business because the crew doesn't roll with cowards. All right, West Side Story. What are you doing?
Plus-
Just sharks and jet
Yeah,
shit? Shut up.
He's a crew, all that stuff too. You're
just
my
helped-
age, dude. Stop.
He just helped you win a
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
Fucking
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And
No.
also, shut up, dork.
Shut up, dork. And then final match, which was tonight's.
Main event of the evening.
Skip that on SmackDown, but we'll just assume this is one long episode.
I skip it on SmackDown a lot. One per Blue Thunder pod is kind of my.
That's fair. You're paid by the episode.
Yeah, I'm like Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
$10,000 every time I do it.
Just taken to the just deducted from the Vince McMahon swear jar. There's a lot of cash in there.
This match, I know you. Yeah, I know it's a Jey Uso rule.
Yeah,
Dave, but
I'm gonna let you
this match
talk.
Kind of fucking ruled.
Jey Uso versus Ilya Dragunov.
I can't do your job. I don't do the play-by-play as well because I just don't take his notes as well as you do. But I can tell you, like, the general vibe of the match was Jey Uso's offense looked so much better than it usually does because of the way that Ilya was selling for him. And Ilya Dragunov, his thing, he already has a thing, which is phenomenal. It just adds to the myriad reasons that I love this dude. His thing is that he, like, his own offense often costs him. It's like when Van Damme used to sell the ribs every time he would do the 5-star.
Yeah.
Dragunov does that, but for a bunch of different things. Like he fucks up his wrist every single time he does the H-bomb.
Yeah.
But he continues to do it, and sometimes to his own benefit, sometimes to his own detriment. Jey Uso, he won the match. He was going to win the match because he's the big over star. People went nuts for him when he came out. One of the few times they cheered on this whole goddamn show. Dragunov got very little reaction from anybody, despite having an awesome entrance himself and like carrying this match completely. The crowd didn't care because he's not a big star yet. But it was the best Jey Uso singles match I've ever seen, and the best match that Uso's been involved in forever. But it, like, Dragunov made him look like $1 million. It actually made me believe that Uso might be able to, like, continue to do well going forward, even though I know that, like, intellectually that's probably not true, and it's probably just because it was Ilya Dragunov in there doing his, like, awesome, crazy drunk selling, you know, after everything that Uso did, that made me think that, okay, yeah, his moves look good. But, like, even his super kick, like, I don't know why, but for whatever reason with Dragunov in there, it looked like it hit him right in the mush.
Yeah.
Never does for Jey Uso against anybody else.
No.
This dude rules, just rules.
Yeah.
Like, you're right, and they are right for not doing the Gunther match yet, because that's going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And give it time to build Dragunov up. I think they're going to stick with him as a babyface, which I like a lot. I hope they do that. I hope they don't fall down the hole of he's a foreign guy. We're going to automatically then eventually just make him the foreign menace guy. Yeah. Because I think he's super likable.
Dude, I tell you what, if they're already mentioning that he beat Gunther, he's going to be in fucking Imperium. Like, why would they talk about it now if they're going to do something with him eventually? Like, why even float that out there?
I really don't want... Dragunov's just a babyface. He's one of those guys that can be, like...
You know what else he is?
It's hard to do.
You know what else he is?
He can do it.
He's fucking European. And if you're European in this company, there's a place for you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't...
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. But, like, there's no evidence to prove otherwise.
Yeah, I know. He rules so hard. And, like, the stuff that he does well is babyface kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the stuff where he's, like, willing to hurt himself to get the victory is a babyface thing. That's the whole thing, is a babyface thing. Makes you want to cheer for him. Yeah. Like, he's kind of fighting from underneath all the time because he's like, despite being a physical specimen, he puts everything out there and it costs him sometimes. And, like, he tells a great story in the ring. And you're right. They're going to put him in fucking Imperium and he's going to be in, like,
I want to be wrong.
6-man tags.
I want to be wrong so bad.
I'm going to be mad. But right now I love him. And this was a great match.
Yeah. It sounds like it was a lot of fun. Jey Uso wins with the Uso splash.
Yeah.
So next week we have Jey Uso versus Gunther. And then Gunther comes out in his I'm about to get on an airplane clothes. And they have a stare down to end the show. And that was Monday Night Raw. What'd you think of this week's WWE programming?
I might have mentioned this. It's all great except for the crowd, Dave.
Yeah. They did a good job this week.
It was great. It was great.
Really good.
It was booked for me, for us, for like wrestling fans. Unfortunately, it wasn't wrestling fans that were in attendance
at these
shows. There's some cities that they are for WWE. Unfortunately, for too many. Again, it's a lot of the blame goes to Vince because it's decades of conditioning for what to cheer for.
Yeah.
That's just wrong. It's wrong stuff.
Yeah.
You're cheering for the wrong thing, or not cheering enough.
It's like he made it a kid's product forever. And
I was thinking about that while watching, as I went back and watched the main event of Dynamite again right after I finished Raw this week, and it's a weird, really weird situation in professional wrestling because the show that everybody, obviously not every Darby Allin, like Kenny Omega, guys like that are not interested, but like the vast majority of pro wrestlers are trying to get to the WWE. Like that's the top in your career because that's where the most eyes are on you. It's the most well-known thing. And it's a weird situation where the thing that you're trying to get to, the very like the high point of your career as a pro wrestler, because it's the thing that's just aimed at kids, and the people there don't care about the thing that you love.
Yeah.
Like you're working super hard at a thing that doesn't really matter when you get to the pinnacle of your like business.
Because you're the equivalent of a fucking Ferris wheel at this point.
It makes me crazy. It's like
it's a great thought.
And it's got to be a mind fuck for these people too, because they're putting in all this work and working. Like even when you're in NXT, you're Dragunov, say, and you're like killing it and killing yourself doing these, like putting on these bangers, 5-star matches, like incredible artistic performances that mean nothing.
Back up, go to where we're harping on Ciampa. Like, look what he did in that company.
Yeah.
Pulling up the ring, like destroying the construction of the ring so he can expose Wood to brutalize his friend. And now he's got a cosplay as Triple H.
Yeah, now he's doing a joke angle because they're both 5'7" or whatever they are. Like
that's a great point. I never considered that.
Like it was kind of a mindfuck to me because I'm putting myself in the minds of these people that are all like, it's their life's journey to get to this point. Yeah. And when you get there, you have to just basically abandon all the art and the sweat and the blood that you put in to get to this point because it's a totally different thing then.
Can you imagine if you played AA baseball, AAA baseball, and the major leagues was like the Savannah Bananas?
Yes. That's a great comp. That is basically exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
Here. Like it's very top. The Yankees are the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
Like,
wow, good. I like that a lot. That's interesting.
That's
bastardizing your fucking
it's super
craft.
Interesting. Like putting yourself in their mindsets.
Yeah.
Like
I want to ask a wrestler about.
Yeah, me too. We need to interview somebody because I need to ask that question now.
I'm gonna hit up Frank the Clown when I get off he talks to me. That aside,
but
children aside,
if you want a different flavor of professional wrestling, dropping at the same time as this, as always.
Really quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have to do our Queen of the Ring brackets.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I almost did too.
Yeah.
So we'll do it real fast. I have to find them. Oh, please tell me I saved it. If I didn't save it, we're not fucking doing it.
I might be able to put them together in my head.
Jade Cargill's winning. I must have put.
She's my MVP of the week for WWE.
I had it. You know what? We'll do it next week because I have the bracket somewhere. But like, we'll properly do both of them again next week. We don't have to do that. Fucking Jade Cargill's winning.
Yeah. She's gonna. And like I said, she's my MVP of the week this week. She made the biggest leap forward in my mind because she did a bunch of shit I didn't know she was capable of.
So I interrupted for nothing. So
it's okay.
Carry on.
If you're looking for another flavor of pro wrestling, not quite maybe the pinnacle that many wrestlers like I was just talking about see is the end goal of their career, but the one that probably gives them a little bit more artistic satisfaction. The AEW podcast of Blue Thunder Pod will be dropping at the same time as this one, so if you haven't checked it out, please go do. Otherwise, thanks for joining us, everybody, and hope you do again next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.